Okay, so the streaming has started. So let us start this particular workshop. So thanks everyone for joining in this particular workshop. In this workshop, we are going to discuss what is generative AI. Okay, why is it so important these days? Why like people are talking so much about it? What are its real applications, right? And after that, we will discuss few concepts of Gen AI. And after that, we will do an end-to-end project. As I mentioned, it's a PDF chatbot that we are going to build. So before building anything, let's just first of all discuss what is generative AI, why it is so important, and why like we are here to discuss this, right? So before I say anything, anyone want to put their his or her thought that what do they know about Gen AI, so that I will add on things from there. Anyone who wants to volunteer for this answer, that what do you think, that what is generative AI, why it is particular, why is it so much important these days? So anyone, it could be right or wrong, it's don't worry about that. Yeah, yes, that SQL chatbot is from scratch. Anyone? Is my voice not audible? Yeah, please. Is my voice not audible? Someone said
It's
that.
audible.
Yeah, it is audible.
Okay, 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 yeah, please, someone raised a hand, please.
It is a type of artificial intelligence which is like trained on large amount of data, and
Okay,
then using that, uh, we can create like new content. We can solve problems through it.
yes, right. So basically, it's a simple English word only. Gen means to basically produce something, right? And through generative AI, you produce a text, you either produce an image, you can produce a video, you can produce, for example, audio or anything. Okay, I will just show you few generative AI applications which are there in market. Like you would have seen. I mean, it's not something new. For example, for resume, you would have seen this website, 𝗓𝗏𝗏, right? What happens there, that you just upload your resume, it will give you all the feedback. Okay, it will give you things that how you can improve your resume. It does everything from you for you. You would have seen this simplify copilot. So what this application does is it helps you autofill job applications. That, for example, when you fill any full-time role anywhere in LinkedIn, right? Generally, it involves a lot of big forms, filling application, and those things. So you would just want to ease that process, right? And for that, this particular thing is very useful. Although that this is paid, but this costs like $50 per month. But there are other applications of this as well, and then you can track wherever you have applied jobs, you can track employers, you can track a lot of things. One of thing is this. Now let's say there is another which we are going to build today. It is a PDF.ai. So for example, what you do in this particular chatbot is, for let's say I log in here. Okay, so let me register through this. So what will happen, I have this particular PDF already uploaded. Okay, there's a which we are going to discuss today, incorrect facts. So let's say I create this. Now whenever I am going to ask any question, for example, this is my history, that where was Eiffel Tower born? Originally Eiffel Tower is from Paris, everyone knows it is there. But what did it answer me? It was built in New York, right? Because it is taking answer from the PDF that I provided. Okay, so this is very important, especially in companies where for example, you have financial reports, you have generally people who build MIS reports or dashboards or those kind of things. And if you want to go to a specific information, right, I mean, you cannot read, for example, a PDF of 2000 pages, 5000 pages, 10,000 pages, right? So there you can simply use such an application. If I'm sure you would have seen a lot of movies like that, where a robot just scans a book in front of his eyes, and then he can tell you where, like whatever question you ask, he's able to tell you from that, right? So this is such kind of application. And similarly, there is another very good website coming up, OpenAI. Sora, you would have heard this. This is from OpenAI. You just put the text, it will generate video for you. Okay. Similarly, there is no end to generative AI applications, right? You see all these days, every internet is flooded with AI, right? But why we are here is that what is the biggest application of Gen AI, especially for people like us who are in data analytics field, who are either a data engineer, who are maybe software developers, who are maybe machine learning engineers or data analysts. Like, how does this impact us and how we can leverage this to improve our work, right? So this is all about this particular workshop. And to tell you that in companies you would have seen there are specially Gen AI teams who are building right now, building projects, building POCs, which they can leverage. For example, one project that we did last week, if you guys know, that you give any natural language. For example, you just ask how many transactions we had today, right? Now this is a simple natural language. Now you will get the result from this particular. Generally what you do, if you have to get answer to this, you write a SQL query. Now you don't have to write a SQL query, you can simply pass a natural language, it will produce your result, right? So it becomes so easy for non-technical people who do not know SQL coding, right? They can simply generate any kind of report, any kind of thing. Another thing which is booming after this right now a lot is, it is Gen BI. It is called generative business intelligence. So here, just based on your natural language, you can produce Power BI reports or any kind of dashboard that you want to do, right? Just imagine how impactful it will be in future, that if you can just generate any report just by typing something. Right now it is practically not feasible. These things are not scalable. That's why you don't see them too much, but teams are already working on this, right? And to be honest, in 2 to 3 years from now, it will be very much feasible that these things might be real in our life. Okay, so this is just a quick summary of, if I have to say, what is generative AI, like how does it impact. So this is a REN AI. If you see, if you go to this website, this is that kind of website where you can, companies upload their database and they can really chat with it, without passing any SQL query or anything. So it has actually reduced for example, earlier you need to be a very much technician to generate these kind of reports. Now you can do this without even those things. But again, it is, I'm not saying that you should not study all this, that okay, without studying you will clear everything. It's not possible. I mean, there are a lot of intricacies as well, which we will discuss in this session. So now in this particular session, we are going to discuss from a developer background that how we build these applications, right? So there are two type of people. One who use AI applications. Okay, they are technically, you can say, they are consumers. And there are second type of people who are developers, who actually build these AI applications. And we are there to be on the second side. We have to think how to build these Gen AI applications, right? And what is the architecture? What is the intricacies? Can a particular service that I have built, can a particular project that I have built, can I scale it to a very large platform? Can I build a startup around it? Can I integrate this in my company? Right? Those things we have to think about from a developer background. Okay, so this is all about it. Any question, anyone? Okay, so this becomes, to be honest, this is very, again, I'm not saying that everyone has to become a developer. It's not possible that everyone starts building generative AI application. It's not possible. But what is important is that you should know what all terminologies are there. For example, talking about me, I'm a machine learning engineer, right? But I am not a data engineer, but I know what all goes into data engineering, right? And it helps in my work. Similarly, someone does not need to know that, okay, someone, if you do not know how to completely build an application end to end, it's totally fine. But you should know what all concepts are there, because you could be a developer, you could be a business analyst, you could be a product manager right now, right? For example, if you're a product manager, you are handling a technical team below you. If you don't know these things, that how these applications are getting built, how will you lead a team, right? So it becomes important. Even if you are a non-coder, it is very important to learn these things. Okay, so that's it about this. We will start the discussion part now. Yeah, please, Karnika, you had some doubt. I cannot hear you. I think you're on mute.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, so I was asking that since generative AI applications don't necessarily need a very deep technical know-how in data science, so would companies not prefer like the previous employees teaching them only little bit about this and like making the software engineers know about this, or would they be hiring specifically for Gen AI?
They will be specially hiring. So talking like it's not only about me. I mean, there are in companies there are software developers and there are proper AI engineers. So there's a difference between them. Software developers work on a lot of things apart from AI. Okay, so AI is a subdivision of software development, if I have to tell you. Okay, so they lot of software, like for example, I'll tell you my case in my company where I'm working, right? We are a team of six people, out of which three are software developers and we three are AI engineers. So don't need to be. I don't know software engineering to be honest completely, but if you know the concepts of AI, then you can learn few concepts of software engineering while like dealing with them, and you can move ahead. So companies are not looking for software developers when they are hiring AI engineers or machine learning engineers. Okay.
Okay. Like my question was specifically for Gen AI. Like, is there a role specifically
Yes,
for
yes,
Gen?
that's what I'm saying. AI engineer is a role for Gen AI people only.
Okay.
So companies are not putting software people there. Of course, they're putting. I'm not saying they're not putting, but they're hiring as well. So it's not that company are just because uh, AI concepts are separate. So a lot of software people, they're good at software, but they don't know AI things, right? So they won't be the right fit. So that's why companies are specifically looking for people who have AI knowledge, how to build these AI applications. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So this is about it now. So let me tell you what we are going to do in this particular session. So first of all, the flow of the session will look like, first of all, we are going to discuss how an AI application works. Okay, how any AI application will take it and how it works. What is LLM? What is LangChain and all that thing we will discuss. Then we will discuss little bit about LangChain. Okay, that what is a LangChain, why it is important. After discussing LangChain, we will see this pdf.ai. We'll start building our project pdf.ai. Okay, so first of all, we see what we have to build. After that, we will understand few concepts such as which is called RAG means retrieval augmented generation. I'll speak about it. In there we need to know about vector database. Okay, and then we need to know about embeddings. Okay, these two things we need to discuss. You lot of you might be knowing about it, but we'll discuss about uh, agents. We are not going to cover in this class because this is especially for RAG. For agents we will do a separate class maybe in coming weeks, right? But I will explain what is agents. I will explain that. Okay, so I will explain what is agent, don't worry. So let me cover that what is agents as well. I will cover somewhere around. Okay, so this is it, and after that we'll build a backend of the whole application using Python code. Okay, so I will be building in VS Code. Now again, I'm saying those who do not know VS Code or Python coding, don't skip the class, at least understand the architecture. Okay, so and understand what I'm going to do. If you don't understand Python coding, it's totally fine right now. You can learn those things later, but understanding the architecture is very important. So this is the topic. These are the topics of this particular session, right? And we'll try to wrap up things within the time limit. So after the session, I will give you this particular GitHub link which we have, and you can try on your systems and as well. Okay, so don't focus about right now, just focus on the architecture, right? Rest all things I'm explaining, try the code after the workshop is over. Okay, but yeah, please follow up me step by step. Please ask question, because this workshop is for you only. right? So please start asking questions, question me, whatever I'm doing, please question me that why are you doing this way, why are you not doing other way? Okay, so have those particular discussions going on. Okay, so let's start with the working of any AI application. Okay, can someone tell me, does anyone know how an AI application works? Anyone who wants to? Yeah, you can. It's fine if you don't see. You need a IDE. You can choose. PyCharm or anything else. Okay. So yeah, I will tell about fine tuning as well. Don't worry. So first of all, let us discuss. Yeah, please, anyone, if someone wants to say anything.
Hello, sir. This is Rajesh.
Yeah.
AI application work by using algorithms and models to process data. Then it identifies patterns in that data and make predictions or decisions based on that data. Like we do data collection and pre-processing. Then we build a model, then train it, then fine-tune it, that model. Then we gain some inferences and predictions from that built model. And
Okay.
for after that, we do some feedback and for the improvement of that particular model.
Okay.
Like this, our AI application work.
Okay. Okay, but that is a very technical definition. I want to know little bit more basic.
Okay. Means in simple, we can say the AI applications is the deep learning and neural network.
Okay. Okay, no problem. I don't worry. I'll explain. Okay. So first of all, let us let's understand the SQL chatbot that we did last week. Okay. So for example, let us say there's an AI application which has a SQL chatbot. So what it does is that you give any natural language question to it, okay, and it gives you the data, the retrieved result. So how does it work? For example, so what will happen, that user will give a question, right? So let's say there is a user and it will give a question. So how will user see? User will simply see that, okay, there is some black box, right? He doesn't know what is going inside it. He just knows that, okay, I'm giving a question and I'm getting a reply, correct? But inside AI application, what happens that for example, there are two steps involved here. If you see, whenever user asks any question, the first step is to convert that user question into a SQL query. Okay. User question to a SQL query using like whatever tools you use. And second step is take the SQL query and execute this. Correct? And then whatever result comes, you basically reply. You pass the output and you reply this. So if you see that any AI application, what is happening? You're taking a natural language, you're processing it, and you're generating a SQL query through a natural language, through some. We'll discuss how this is getting generated, and after that you are executing. Okay. So what is happening? You take any text that user sends and you convert it based on, for example, right now we were just building a SQL chatbot. You could be building any other type of chatbot, or let's say a medical chatbot or something else. So how does the user query, for example, whenever user gives any question, how does that convert into for example, a SQL query, or you can say a financial chatbot, someone that just replies financial things, or any such kind of things. This is converted using an LLM. Okay. What is an LLM? It is thing that you use called ChatGPT. Okay. Now, one question comes that we see that rise of AI applications in last 2 years. The people might ask this question: were these LLMs not earlier? So my answer is that these LLMs were present earlier as well. But how things have changed, for example, especially how OpenAI or such platforms have changed, that earlier these all LLMs were like built for very special cases, not for general public. And to create such models where you take a user question, apply NLP techniques and convert them, you had to use deep learning models. Okay. and someone who can use deep learning models, set the parameters there, only he was able to convert them into the right thing. Now, how LLMs have changed the world, that anyone, like for example, who does not know deep learning, you can simply go to ChatGPT. For example, I'm at ChatGPT. I will just say that, okay, I have a table, let's say employees. Give me a SQL query to get distinct employees, right? If I just write down this prompt, it will give me a SQL query, right? Which is absolutely correct. Now, this is where the game has totally changed, that with LLMs, you just need one thing that is called prompt. Okay, you need a good prompt that you write. What is prompt? The input that you are giving to any LLM, that is called prompt. Now, prompt has its own department. It's called prompt engineering. There are a lot of prompting techniques. We might not go there in this session, but like there is zero shot learning, there is few shot learning, there is chain of thought, there is tree of thought. Like there are a lot of techniques through which you write. Okay, but we'll cover them later. So this is how any AI application work, is that you take the user question, you process it using any LLM, and then you generate the output the way you want. Okay, so for example, let's talk about this particular chatbot with this PDF.ai, which is, let's see how it is working. Okay, so what happens that I click on upload. Okay, this was free, so I cannot upload multiple documents, but what will happen, I will upload a PDF just like I have uploaded here. Okay, so what would be happening? Just let's try to guess. User uploads a PDF here at the start. Okay, after this, what will be happening? Can someone tell me?
The content will be stored in the database.
Yes. So what will you do? You will take the content of PDF and you will store in a document or somewhere. Okay, you'll store the text of your PDF somewhere. Okay, right? After that, we do some there are a few techniques that we do. I will discuss them in today's session. They are called chunking, retrieval, those things we will do. So like we do some NLP, you can say we'll do some NLP here, which we will discuss today. And based on user question, so after this, user sends his question here. Okay, and then we provide the answer. This is the architecture of this particular thing, this particular AI application. For example, if I just have to show right now, you don't worry about that if you don't understand everything. So this is the architecture of this particular PDF that we are going to build. User will upload a PDF here. Okay, so we will parse the text. What does parsing means? That take the text from a PDF and store it somewhere. Okay, after that, we forget about this part right now, because we will be doing this in this particular session, right? And after that, these steps will happen, and then you will find the answer. So this is the architecture of this particular application that we are going to build today. So I'll talk about this vector database, what is chunking and all that, don't worry. So yeah, please, Chavi, you were asking something.
Is this application similar to the Google product, like the Notebook LM? Have you tried that?
Yes, yeah, I have tried Notebook LM. Yes, that
Is
it's
it
something like
similar?
it is similar, but Notebook LM has like lot of additional features as well.
Yeah, I mean the basic.
Yeah,
thing.
basically same. Yes.
Okay.
Right. So we are going to build the architecture for this particular problem. So now let us first of all understand that there are two types of LLMs. Okay. So before building the product, let's understand there are two types of LLMs. One is called open source, one is called closed source, right? So if you talk about LLM, one is, for example, open source, you guys know, and one is closed. So can someone tell me what is the difference between these two?
Open source, open, that means the source code is freely available, and closed means
Yes.
we will not be able to access.
Yeah, so it means source code is available and you can access them for free. Okay, you can use them for free. And closed means you don't know everything about it, and these applications are mostly paid. Okay.
What is LMS?
LLM means large language model.
Not
Large?
LLMS, LAMS.
Where is LAMS? I didn't mention.
I heard recently like LLMS as well as LAMS. So I don't have any idea about LAMS. So asking you.
They are also type of LLMs only. I will explain that. Don't worry.
Okay.
So, can someone tell me what free LLMs have you, if you have ever used?
Llama
Llama,
3.2,
Right. So
Hugging Face.
the most Hugging Face is a library. For example, if you go there, so this is a website, Hugging Face. It contains all the LLM models which are free, open source LLM, which are freely available. Okay, you can take any model, you can select any model, and you can use for your use case. It's like NVIDIA Llama 3.1, Vision. There are so many. Okay, so mostly in this particular session, we are going to use Llama for this. Okay, and another the closed source, of course, we all know it is ChatGPT. The model is GPT, and the company is OpenAI, right? So we'll be using OpenAI models for this. Okay, so for this you need an API key. Okay, I will explain you how to get an API key, and for this you just need to download the model. Okay, so I have explained it thoroughly in previous session that how to download and create a chat with these particular LMs, but I will explain this thing once again in the session, that how, for example, how do you interact? For example, I know that if I go to ChatGPT, right, I know that I can write in and I can get things done. But what if I want to, as a developer, I want to build things in my code? So how can I chat with ChatGPT through my code, right? So that is what we are going to build right now. Okay, any question, anyone, before this? All good, everyone? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm simply going to open a VS Code, right? So let me just, okay. So this is the VS Code. I will create a new terminal. Okay, I'll explain how to build a terminal and all that once we start the project. But right now I'm just going to tell you very quickly that how you can actually chat with any of your LLM, for example. Okay, so what do you do? First of all, we have to create a virtual environment here. So wait a second. So first of all, we have to create a virtual environment before chatting with any of your ChatGPT or any LLM. Okay, so I'll take this LLM bin activate. Don't worry if you guys don't know this, it's totally fine, right? I mean, don't worry about that. So we have to basically get, so are you guys okay with this? So now I will start building a particular chatbot where a simple thing where I will chat with LLM through my Python code. So what do I need to do? I need to simply install few libraries. One is LangChain, okay, and one is LangChain, let's say OpenAI, and one is LangChain Llama. So let it install. It will take a minute. Okay, so this is great. Now step comes. If I have to chat with ChatGPT through my Python code, I have to set up an API key. Okay, so how to set up any API key? So what you do? First of all, go to OpenAI. Okay, you guys can try parallelly on your systems as well if you want. Okay, so you go to this, you open the OpenAI platform, and you click this products, and you go to API login. So first of all, you will log in through your whatever email ID you are having. Let's say I will log in through my email ID, and after that you will go to this, there is a profile, and if you see, there is a user API keys. Okay, so you can create API keys from there. These API keys basically will help you chat with your ChatGPT model, right? Remember, for every chat that you do, it will cost you some money. I mean, maybe like for every text, for every token that you send, it costs you some money. So you can either use it, or you can you can directly use Llama as well. So for example, if you go to this website 𝗂𝗚, you can download 𝗂𝗚 model, and you can chat with 𝗂𝗚. So I will explain you using both of the models. So first of all, let's do using 𝗂𝗚, that how do we chat with it. Okay, so what we do, first of all, we so let me just new file. Okay, so suppose I have to chat with particular, so what I do, I'll install some libraries which are required. So like from 𝗂𝗚, I will import chat 𝗂𝗚. This particular thing will help me chat with llama model, which I'm going to use. And then we will have from langchain dot langchain underscore core dot prompts import. We will import chat prompt template. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. Now let's start building up the model. So remember, whenever you chat with any, like in ChatGPT or anything, you put a prompt template, right? So first of all, we will put a prompt template. So let's simply write down a prompt here, or we can simply write down a template, let's say, which is equal to template is equal to tell me 5 facts about. Okay, and let's say I want to give a placeholder, right? So this is my template, that tell me 5 facts about, and here I will put a user question. Let's say user want to put, you can put anything in it, right? So any name, for example, any country, any space, anything, you can put it. Now what I will do, I'll create a prompt out of this. So I will use, there is a method called chat prompt template, which is present here, right? And I will simply from template, I will simply pass this template that I created. Okay, so this method is created. After that, I need to set up my model, that is LLM that I'm going to build, right? So remember, we are using chat 𝗂𝗚, so we'll be chatting with our llama model, and I will simply mention that let's say model name. Okay, so this is equal to llama 3.2. Remember, this will work only if you have downloaded llama. So you have to go to the 𝗂𝗚 website, download the llama model, and you set temperature equal to 0. I'll explain you what these parameters are in this class only, don't worry about that. Just see the code right now, what I'm doing. Okay, after this, what I will do, I'll put a chain which is equal to prompt, and I will set up this thing like a mod LLM. Okay, once this is done, so response is equal to chain dot, let's say, invoke. And once I do this, I'll pass a user question. So for example, the user question that user is going to ask, I will put that here. So let's say I want 5 facts about India. Okay, I'll put it there, and print response dot content. Okay, so this is what I'm going to print. Now whenever I now run this, so let me just save it. Very good. Okay, so I just put something wrong. It should be model, not mod. Yeah. So the code is running. It will take a second, and it will reply to my answer. Just see, it just gave me 5 facts about India. If you see this, here are 5 interesting facts about India. It has given me the response. Okay. So this is the same thing. You can get response, like you can switch to ChatGPT as well. For example, I'll explain that. If instead of chat, because chat llama model is free, you can use this. Otherwise, you can use ChatGPT as well. Okay, so this was just how to chat with any LLM model through your code. Now let's move towards few concepts that we are going to discuss in this particular rather how any application, how we will build our product that we are going to just a second. Okay.
Hi sir, I have
Yeah,
some.
yeah, please.
I'm audible.
Yeah, you're audible. Please ask me.
You were saying some build some generative AI thing. Then I need to use two things. The one is the model, and the other is the other library, which is going to help us to chat with that
Yes.
library, which act as a barrier. So that like. That is going to work with any model that I am going to use with.
Yeah, you can use any model. See, few models are paid, few models are open source, right? So choose whatever you want to use. Anything will work depending on, now it totally
So,
depends for what is your use case.
okay.
Is it,
So, suppose, yeah, uh,
your
I
voice is
suppose
breaking,
I'm
your
going to.
voice is breaking. Vikram, can you rejoin? Your voice is
Okay.
breaking.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, we can use Ollama through Grok API as well. That I haven't covered in this class, but I just used Ollama here. Now, one thing, let's talk about one thing, what we are going to do today. So where is ChatGPT? Let me open it, right? So suppose, so what happens, suppose I ask a question to ChatGPT that what is my manager's name? Suppose I ask this question. Do you think ChatGPT will be able to answer?
Is it helpful?
Sorry.
No, I don't think.
Guys, please focus on what I'm starting the project, so please let's focus on here. Okay, so tell me this thing. If I ask ChatGPT a question, tell me what is my manager's name, will ChatGPT be able to answer this or not? If not, what?
No.
Why?
Uh, because you don't have data, the GPT don't have data about who is your manager and where you are working, something like that.
Yes. So thing is that any LLM that you use, it is built on using public source data. Okay, whatever information is present in public, it is built on that. It does not know anything. So it is does not know anything about your private, like any information about a company, any information about your personal life, or it could be anything which is not publicly available, right? So private information, it does not have access to that. Now, point is that, for example, if I have to build an application for my company, I want LLM to know that information, correct? Otherwise, how will I be able to answer? For example, the SQL chatbot that we were doing, or any type of project that we do. So how can we pass this information to LLM? How can we build, make LLM have that particular information so that it answers me? So there are two methods to do this, okay? So how you can increase any LLM's intelligence or the context that any LLM has. For example, let's say you take any LLM, okay, it has public information, it has, right? It has public information, it has a logical reasoning power as well, okay? It has a logical reasoning power as well. But what it does not have is the context to your personal information. Now, how you can make any LLM customized to your particular scenario? There are two methods to do this. The first method is called fine tuning any LLM. Okay, and the second method is called RAG. Okay. RAG means retrieval augmented generation. I will speak about it. First, let us discuss what is fine tuning. That do you know that any LLM that you see, for example, let's go to this website. Let's see any model. I pick up Llama. Okay. So let's pick up Llama 3.2. Do you see there is a thing called 3 billion, 1 billion? If you see this, what are these things? Can someone tell me?
Parameters.
Tokens.
These are the parameters on which your LLM is built upon. Okay, the information, you can say the source, whatever information that it is that particular information which your LLM is built upon. Now, if you see a ChatGPT has, I think, hundreds of billions of parameters, 70 billion, like there are so many, even I forgot how many are there exactly. But so an LLM has all the context of the world, but at times you don't need all the information. For example, let us say I just want an LLM to summarize a text for me. Okay, that I give it any text and it just summarizes it for me. I don't need a 70 billion or a 100 billion model for that. I can solve it using a simple model as well, right? So that is what is called fine tuning, that you take any big LLM, for example. Okay, you take any big LLM and you fine tune. What is the meaning of fine tuning? Fine tuning is an English word, right? So it basically tweak it. So tweak it as per your need. Okay, so let me first of all explain you what is this. For if you know, all LLMs are technically transformers, or you can say they are deep learning models. Okay, so how does any deep learning model work in backend? I will tell you. Just understand, even if you don't know deep learning, it's totally fine. So there are some pieces of information that these are technically called neurons, or you can say anything. Okay, they are built upon these so these are technically parameters that any LLM has. Okay, so a source of information comes here. Okay, they get processed here. Something like this thing will happen. Okay, they will have lot of connectivities, and then you will get the result. Okay, now these particular things are trained. For example, let us say I talk about the style, the tone in which any LLM speaks. Okay, one parameter is for that. One is, for example, let's say I talk about financial topics, what information it has about financial topics, right? Similarly, there are separate parameters. Okay, now what you want to do that, for example, let's say I'm just using a text summarizer. I just have to build a model which just summarizes the text summary for me. I don't need, for example, let's say there is a parameter which talk about let's say sports. I might not need that. I just need a logical reasoning power of LLM, which will be present in few of the parameters, and I just need that. So originally this model was 100 billion, okay, size, but parameters. But for me, I just need 1 billion, because only these things will help me create the right model. Right, so this is called fine tuning, where you take an original model, you tweak it as per your personal need, right? And this tweaking is done in two ways. That first of all, you tweak the parameters, plus you train the model on your data, on your company's data, or whatever information is present. Okay, so this is your personal company. For example, let us say you reply in a certain context style, or let us say a company's chatbot. There is a company which provides medication, there's a medical chatbot which gives medical assistance to people, right? The way the chatbot talks to people, you will put that data in here. Okay, and you will put that data here, and the logical reasoning of ChatGPT will be, of any LLM will be there. Okay, and combining these two, you will create a new model. Okay, you will create a new LLM, which people say that customized LLM, or whatever GPTs you create, right? This will be fine-tuned to my company. Okay, and this will always reply as per my need. So this is called fine-tuning an LLM. That's all you need to know right now. We don't need to go too much in detail for fine-tuning. Okay, yeah, please. These are called weights. Yes, right. Yeah, please.
Satvik, in this whole process, where is an API used?
API is a separate thing. API is, I'll talk about. API has nothing to do with LLM. Okay.
Okay.
I'll speak about it. What is API?
Satvik, I also have a question. Can you please go back to that diagram that you just made?
Yeah.
So here, so I just want to understand if I have got it right, that so if there are 100 billion parameter model, so
Yes.
there would be 100 billion weights of
Yes.
all the neurons, like all the calculated. It will include the hidden layers as well as the input layer.
Yes.
So all those, and then when we will train it on our specific data set, then
Yes.
we will pick and choose the relevant parameters and then cut it short. Like
Yes.
we will,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then from that we will fine tune it and get a smaller model that will cater to our data set. That is right.
Exactly. That is what happening. You're taking a
Okay.
bigger model, okay, and you are copying it. Basically, you're taking its small version and you are manipulating it for your needs, right? So this is what is happening, and there are a lot of techniques. I'm not covering them in detail today, but for example, there is a technique called LoRa. It means low rank adaptation. There is a technique called 𝘂𝘶, which is also used to basically fine tune a model. And there are like a lot of techniques. So we are not going that in there, because this particular session is about the second technique that we are going to do is called RAG. Okay. So second, now we are going to discuss about RAG. RAG means retrieval augmented generation. So it is retrieval augmented generation. Okay. Now, so now let's discuss this particular part. So what happens that, remember, we just saw that, for example, you put a user has a question, right? You just put a question to ChatGPT that what is the name of my manager, and ChatGPT will simply reply, I don't know. Correct? I don't know this information. Now, how LLM understand whether it is chatbot, text summarization, sentiment? That is done using, so there are two types of model in LLM. If you know, there is a chat completion model, there is a text completion model. Okay, so by default these models are you set whether you want to set it as chat completion or text completion. That's how it understands in backend. Is it clear? I will cover them in detail in some other workshop, but generally, if you go about, there are two types of LLMs. They behave either as text completion model, or the text completion means you give any text, it will complete that. Okay, and second is chat completion, where it behaves as a chatbot. Okay? So that is the point. See, if you have to fine tune a model, you have to provide a training data. LLM logic, it works on prompt, but if you have to fine tune as per your company needs, you have to provide a data. Is it clear? Okay, so in this workshop, we are not going to cover the training data. We are going to discuss a new very efficient technique where you don't need to train your model. It is called RAG. Okay, so what happens, for example, user put a question in the chatbot that, okay, what is my manager's name? It is not able to, or let's say, what is the sales in Q1 2001, Q1 of 2024 of my company? Now LLM does not know about that, correct? So how will you provide that information? So here you use a concept. Suppose you have a sales report of your company. Okay, let's say you have any MIs or any dashboard. You will provide this as context to this. Okay, and now LLM will take the context from your sales report, and it will take the prompt and it will provide the answer. This is how it works on, if I have to talk in very basic way, that you give it a context, of from any of your report. It could be a text, it could be a text file, PDF file, it could be a dashboard or anything, right? So while prompting it, you give a context. For example, let us say, let's go to ChatGPT. For example, my given that, for example, given that my company's sales in 2024 and 2024 quarters are, for example, for first, let's say I'll mention $2 million. For second quarter, let's say it is $3 million. For third quarter, let's say it is $5 million, and for fourth quarter, let's say it is $9 million. Okay, tell me the sales of my company in 2024 quarter 2. Okay, let's say now I have given a context, right? A lot of you might question me that, okay, you're already giving it the answer, so how it will give you answer? But don't worry, wait for it, right? So right now, just I'm giving it a context about my company, and then I'm asking it the question. Okay, so it is able to answer the particular question. Now so we'll use this logic only to build this particular concept, where you ask any question to your LLM or model, it will be able to answer. Now we will go towards some theoretical concepts of embeddings, of how does LLM work, right? And how this retrieval happens. So we will be talking about that. Any question before I ask anything, before I explain anything?
Hi. So I have one doubt.
Yeah.
So when we pass the context to the LLM,
Yes.
so is the model retrained with the given data that we pass, say database or some CSV files, or it is not retrained on this?
So what will happen? Let me tell you. So for example, you will have a question. Okay. You will have a question.
Okay.
Okay. Now you will have a report. Okay. Let's say you have a PDF. It could be a PDF. It could be a dashboard. Now, related to this question, where do you find, for example, your report is of 2000 pages. Okay. Now you will find, related to this question, where is the context present in my report, and you will pass to the LLM question plus context. Okay.
Okay.
And then it will answer. The main problem arises, how does any LLM identify the context as per the question? This is what we are going to discuss today. Okay, so let's go to the this PPT. First of all, let's discuss little about how this application will work. Okay, and then we will come back to the coding part. So suppose you have this, let's say you have this document. There's a text file which has a lot of facts. So assume it has 100 facts, and they are like, if you see, dreamt is the only English word that ends with letter MT, and also like there are some 100 facts present in your text file. Okay. Now suppose you want to ask the question, what is an interesting fact about English language? Now in general, if you ask, it will reply you anything, but you want answer in relevance of this particular text file only. Is it right?
Right.
Any question, anyone? Okay, so what will you do, that you will create a prompt. Okay, so you will create a prompt like this, that use, so let me show you. So what you will do, you will say that this is the user question, right? And this is a text file. So you will say that the prompt will look like, use the following, just like we did here in the previous question, that this is the sale of my company, answer me the question. So use the following interesting fact to answer the user question, and then you are passing all the facts. For example, let us say this table has 100 facts. Okay, so you are passing all the 100 facts in prompt, and then you are asking the user question. Now user is asking the question that, what is an interesting fact about English language? So what it will return? It will return you this particular fact. Correct? Any doubt, anyone in this till this point? So let me repeat what we are doing. We are taking the user question. We are taking the whole text file. Okay. In prompt, we are pasting all the facts. Okay. And we are putting the user question, just like we did for the company sales right now. And it will give me the answer. Because ChatGPT is smart enough, if you give it a context, it will be able to reply you from that. Correct? Any doubt, anyone? Okay. Tell me, what is the problem with this scenario? Can someone tell me, if I use this particular thing, what is the issue? There is one, I'm telling you guys, there is one problem with this particular approach. What that problem is?
Is it the size of the context? Like, is there any limitation?
Yes, so that is the main concept. In LLM, the prompt that you enter, it has token size, right? Okay, there are token sizes. What if this text file has 10 raised to the power 5, like 1 lakh facts, or you can say there's like so many 1 lakh facts. Okay, will you pass all these tokens into your ChatGPT? Remember, the money, whenever you whenever you use ChatGPT, right, or any LLM, it costs you money. Unless if you're using any closed source LLM, and even if you're using an open source LLM, for example, let us say I give you a lot of text, right, and I ask you one question from it, you will face difficulty. Similarly, machines also have a limit. You cannot pass just unlimited text and assume that it will answer you the right thing from that. Do you guys agree with this or not? Right?
Yes.
So I have to do something so that, so what can I do? So what can be solution to this? Okay, so see, first of all, let's see what is the problem. That the downside of this is that when you put the entire contents of the facts in, the first downside is that longer prompt, it means more cost to run, right? Second is, longer prompt means it takes longer time to run. Correct? And another issue is that when you give a lot of text, for example, I have given you 1 lakh text or 1 billion text, I'm asking you one piece of information, you will have to scan through all the text, right? If you guys know about little bit about time complexity, which you do in coding, when you have so many parameters, when you have so many text, your model will have to go again and again to each of the text, right? And it will take a lot of time. Time complexity and space complexity comes here, those who know about it, right? So it is a very inefficient way of doing things. This is not a scalable solution for your company. So what we can do, can someone suggest me what we can do here? So what we will do here is that instead of passing the whole text file, we will just put the top 1 to 3 relevant facts into the prompt, and they should be relevant to the question that have been asked. Okay, so let us say there were 10 raised to the power 5 facts. Okay, so before passing anything to LLM, what I will do, I will take the user question. Okay, I'll take the user question, I'll select top 3 facts from this, which are basically contextually similar to this, which are relevant to the question that I have asked. Okay, so question plus 3 facts. Now when I will pass this to LLM, it will give me the answer, and my text is also not increasing, it's only 3 facts, right? You can 3 or you can make it 5, and it is like, it is scalable, just 3 or 5. Any doubt, anyone in this approach? Please tell me, because this is the whole concept of RAG.
I have a question here.
Yeah, please.
So in order to get these 3 facts,
yeah,
out of, let's say, 1 lakh facts which you mentioned,
yes,
Again, we need to run an LLM to find
No,
those three.
that is the point. You don't need to run an LLM for that. I will tell you how will you do that.
Okay.
There comes the concept of vector database and all that. Okay, we'll discuss about that. So is it clear, everyone, that any doubt that don't worry about how we are fetching these three facts out of this? It will not be done through LLM. There is a separate technique for that. Okay. Anyone, any doubt?
Would it be done using PCA?
No, it will not be done through PCA. I mean, there are techniques, but how will we do it? Leave it right now. Okay, just focus on what we have to do. We have to take the question. We have to get three relevant facts from of that related to that particular question from the table, from the fact file, and then we have to pass to LLM. Okay. So what we will do now is we will, for example, this is the user question. Don't read all things because there are a lot of things this particular in this slide. I'm not covering everything. So you have this user question. Similarly, like you have, let's say you just pick 6 facts, you pass them here and you'll pass the question. So you will get the answer. Now comes the concept. So how are we going to retrieve whenever, for example, this is the user question, this is a document. Now this document will have a lot of facts related to this question. How I dynamically select the relevant, let's say top 3 relevant facts from this. For this, we are going to do semantic search. We are going to use embeddings. Okay, we'll discuss right now what is embeddings, what are sentence vectors, and all that. If you guys know, it's good, but still we are going to cover it. Okay, so let's first of all understand what is semantics. And for example, let us say you are given 3 statements. Okay, statement 1, statement 2, statement 3. How do you determine if this is if you have 100,000 page PDF? Yeah, so that's what we are going to discuss right now. If you have a 1,000 page PDF, you will have to find the relevant context from that, because all those 1,000 pages will not contain the relevant context, right? So for example, you have a book on science, let's say a book on maths. Now suppose you want to answer a question on trigonometry. So you don't need to pass the whole book. You just need to refer to the trigonometry section. That's what we do in general, right? So from this 1,000 page PDF, we will pick those pages which are relevant to my question, and then I will pass to LLM. Is it clear? Any doubt in this? Anyone? Okay, so let's move ahead. Now we're going to discuss, for example, let's say there are multiple sentences. How do you determine that they are because as I mentioned, we will get a user question. We have to find the relevant fact. How do we determine that if something is relevant to this question? So there comes the semantics, right? So let's read about this. So you are going to get 3 sentences. You have to rate them on bravery and happiness. Okay, so you have to do a rating from -1 to 1 based on bravery, and -1 to 1 based on happiness. Okay, so see, you have these 3 sentences. There's a bravery score for each sentence. 1 means bravery, -1 means fear, 1 means happy, -1 means sad. Okay, this is the scale. So let us discuss this particular statement. The happy child jumped bravely from rock to rock. Can someone tell me these numbers can be wrong? Okay, so can someone tell me what should be the bravery score for this person? You don't need to tell the exact number. Any rough number will work, because we don't know exact number, but we have to guess what could be the number. So if you see that this particular statement, the child is happy, it is explicitly mentioned, right? So it will be close to 1, or it will be approximately 1. And let's talk about the happiness score. So this means happiness, and the child jumped bravely. So because it jumped bravely, it is 1. So 1,1 for bravery and happiness. Now let's see the second statement. The child was not timid. I see that child was not timid, okay, and had a good time. Okay. Now let's let me ask you this. You were not timid. Does that mean you are brave? Anyone? You are not timid. Does it mean you are brave?
Maybe, maybe not.
Maybe, maybe not, right? For example, let's say you so let us say you can say you are not rich. Does that mean you are poor? You can be a poor, you cannot be poor. It is a mixed thing, right? So it will not be one. We cannot say for sure that this is one. This is completely brave person. So we will put it 0.5. Okay, let's assume it is somewhere between a brave. So let's say 0, 1 and -1. So it is somewhere here. Okay. Now let's similarly for this good time. He had a good time, but does that mean he was happy? You cannot for sure say that. So it is also somewhere around 0.3, 0.6. It can be any number. Don't focus about the number, just focus on the range of the number where it could lie. It could lie from -1 to 0, it could be 0, it could be 0 to 1, or it could be 1. Okay. So now let's read the last line. Although filled with great fear. We see that the child was filled with great fear. So it will be -1. And the child jumped from rock to rock. There is no mention of whether the child was happy, sad, or anything. So I'll put a 0 there. He could be happy, he could not be happy, right? So for these three statements, based on these two parameters, we have created some numbers, right? 1, 1, whatever the numbers are there. These numbers are called embeddings. Okay. In data science or any field, these numbers are called embeddings. So if you see, this is a statement, this is embedding, this is embedding, this is embedding. Now, what is embedding? Embedding is a list of numbers between -1 and 1 that score how much a piece of text is talking about some particular quality, right? So we have two qualities. We checked each of the statement, how much is this talking about each of quality, and we were able to tell it the number. Now, this was just two qualities. When you talk about LLMs, for example, ChatGPT, this particular thing only had 2 dimensions. A ChatGPT has, if you know, it has 1536 dimensions. So whenever you give any text to it, these embeddings are created based on 1536 parameters, right? So this is 1, this is 2, right? There were 2 parameters, 1 parameter 1, parameter 2. So we just created embedding based on 2 parameters. In reality, there are 700 to 800 dimensions. So like there could be bravery, happiness, royalty, like there can be so many columns. So here you see only 2 things. There you will have 1536 numbers. Is it clear? Anyone, any doubt in this? Guys, if it is not clear, let me know. I mean, I'll explain again, but please at least communicate. Is it clear, the embedding part?
I have a question again.
Yeah,
on
please.
this. So let's say there's a big file which is uploaded and a certain question is asked. Now, in order to create this embedding or qualities, the LLM or like it has to go through the entire file, right? It has to read the entire file first, right?
Yes.
So wouldn't that take the same amount of time instead of searching the exact answer? From
No, I'll tell you. Don't worry. I'll come to that. I have not come to that right now, right? Don't worry. First, let's understand the concept of embedding, right? Is this embedding clear to everyone? Any doubt?
Hello.
Okay. Yeah, please.
So that does the embedding is, for my understanding, it's just converting the words to the numerical representation as like
Yes.
we used to
Yes.
learn in machine learning.
Exactly.
Okay.
See,
Okay.
machines do not know text, right? For example,
Yeah.
let's say I ask which these statements are together. For I ask which of these statements are contextually relevant, right? You cannot say. A machine will be able to answer only through numbers because the machine deals in numbers, right? So
Okay.
you have to convert your sentences into numbers. These numbers are called embeddings. Okay. And how they are created, they are trained, or they have been trained over time on various parameters. Okay, these are those parameters. So a ChatGPT has 50.
Okay,
Yes,
so what is that you are saying about this ChatGPT has 1536 dimensions?
so
Exact
what
what
I
it
mean to say that, see, there are different models, right? Some
Yeah,
models
yeah.
just have 700 dimension. Like we just
Okay.
created an embedding right now. If you see, these embeddings are 2-dimension embeddings, right?
Okay. Two
Few
columns.
models,
So
for example,
okay.
they just have 700. Few models go even further. Why ChatGPT is very smart enough? Because it is trained on 1536. This is the maximum embedding that any model has.
Okay. Okay. So these embeddings, these are what about this transformers? We are saying it as transformers. I just have a
See,
little
don't worry about that, because that is out of. I mean, all these GPTs, LLMs are transformers, but that is beyond scope of this class, right? So
Okay.
don't worry about that. Right now, just focus on how any sentence gets converted to number. It converts in the form of embeddings, and how these embeddings are created. You rate yourself. You rate any text in across various categories. For example, qualities. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
So these are, yes, these are vector embeddings. Yes. So any doubt, anyone, please, someone, if you guys raise their hand, please, you can ask.
Satvik, are we using NLP or is this something
Yes,
different?
this is done through NLP only. Yes.
Hi, I have one doubt. So
Yeah.
I think it's a very foundational doubt, but like the 1536 number of dimensions and the 1 billion parameters. So like, what's the difference between like both of them? Like when we say,
See, dimensions are, for example, each dimension which you see here, this might have further splits as well. Okay.
okay,
Right. So they correspond to one. They talk about parameters. So they are like 1 billion, 70 billion. They are those.
okay, understood.
So each of these particular quality might have multiple parameters inside it, right? So we have clubbed them together in one quality. Okay.
Okay, sure. Got it.
Okay. Anyone, any doubt before I move ahead? Okay. So now that for each sentence, if you see, we have an embedding, right? Right now we have two dimensions only. We have created embedding. Blue sentence has some embedding, green sentence has some embedding, yellow sentence has some embedding. Now we want to compare. Remember what we want: relevant sentences together. Okay. So how do we do? How do we get the relevant sentence together? So if we will plot these things, because these are technically numbers, or you can call them vectors. Okay. For example, these are 1, 1, x, y plane. If I plot them, okay. So the blue sentence will be plotted here. The second statement will be, because this is 1, 1, right? It will be plotted here. The green point is 0.5, 0.3. It will be plotted here. And the yellow point is -1, 0. Plotted here. Now that these are so you want to understand which these sentences are closer to each other. For that, you have two metrics basically to determine which sentences are closer. Okay. So one of the parameter is, so basically, how can we tell how similar these sentences are, right? So what we will do, there are two methods. One is 𝗂𝗫 L2, one is cosine similarity. So what is 𝗂𝗫 L2 method is that you directly take the distance. For example, you have these points, right? So you will take the distance, this distance. Okay. Suppose you take this S1, you take this distance S2, and you take this distance S3. Okay. So suppose S1 comes to be something, S2 comes to be something, S3 comes to be something. Right? Let's say this comes to be 0.2, this comes to be 0.8, this comes to be, let's say, 1.3. Now you will pick that distance which is least, right? This is the least distance, if you see that, right? And this distance is between this particular point and this particular point, correct? So you will say that the green and the blue sentence are relatively closer and yellow sentence is relatively farther. This is based on the distance method. Any doubt in this point? Yes, all positional distances will be covered, will be considered. So this is called R2 squared method. Okay. Yeah, please, you can ask.
Which distance can be used? Euclidean distance or?
You can use it. See, there are, as I mentioned, there are multiple methods to calculate distances, right? Some use vector distance, some calculate Euclidean distance. So you can take anything.
Okay, thank you.
Right. So for different type of distance, there are different type of parameters. And there is second method which we are going to do today is cosine similarity. So what is the cosine? You take the angle between two vectors to figure out how similar they are. For example, if I check angle between this, for example, this blue and green, right? Sentence 1 and sentence 2. What is the angle between sentence 1 and sentence 2? It is this one, right? Let's assume this is 30 degrees. Okay. Now let us say the distance between S2 and green and yellow, S2 and S3. It will be this distance, right? This angle, I mean. So it will be, for example, less than 180. So you can say, let's assume it to be 150 degrees. Okay. And between S1 and S3, what is the distance? S1 and S3, blue and yellow. It is this angle, right? So it will be less than 150. So it is 120 degrees because this is the angle. What you do, you take cos of this, cos of all the angles. Okay. And the one that is lower, right? Basically, those two vectors, or you can say those two sentences, are closer to each other. Okay. So for here we see sentence 1. So this is sentence 2, this is sentence 1, this is sentence 3. So we see that angle between S1 and S2 is least, right? So if you take cos of 30, it will come out to be least. So you will say S1 and S2 are semantically closer to each other. Okay, any doubt in this? Yeah, now I'm open to doubts, please.
My question is, like you said that there are multiple way to calculate the distance.
Yes.
So and you have chosen that, yeah, R2 S2. So on the basis of what we can decide that, yeah, this method is best suited for our
See,
solution.
generally, so it is all based on experimentations. Cosine similarity works the best. Okay. This is based on multiple experimentation that have, if you read little bit of research papers or articles, right? So generally cosine similarity is considered the best. If you don't get good result through that, then you move to anyone else.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anyone, any other question?
Sabir, why are we even like checking the similarity between the sentences here?
Because remember, what is our original objective? That we get a question, right? And we had a document. And we had to get the relevant context from that document, which we can pass to LLM, right? So out of, for example, let's say document has 100 facts. Now you only want 3 facts out of it, which are closer to the question, right? So how
here,
will you find?
S1 will be the question and S2 and S3 will be the facts, or all S1, S2, S3 will be facts only?
All S1, S2, S3 are facts. So for example, what will happen? I'll tell you what is happening. What is going to happen what is eventually going to happen in the application that we are going to build, let me tell you, right? So user will give you a question. For example, user asks, tell me a fact about, for example, tell me a fact about anything. For example, let's say India. Okay. This is the user question. Okay. Now you have a book of facts which has lot of facts. For example, it has facts about countries, it has facts about sports, it has facts about animals, and lot of things. Okay. Now earlier what we were doing, we were passing the whole text into LLM and we were asking the question. Then we decided that okay, we cannot pass the whole document because the text size will increase. So what we have to do, we have to find the relevant chapter from our PDF which correspond to the user question. And here it means countries, right? Because if I'm talking about India, I mean, I want the part where countries are mentioned. Okay. So this will be the user question plus this countries thing will go into the. So the question that will go into LLM is that given the fact about countries, answer the user question, right? And then ChatGPT will give you the answer. Okay, now how do you pick the relevant country? Okay, I said that I will pick the relevant countries, but how are you going to pick that? That you're going to pick through these embeddings that I just spoke about. Is it clear?
So like we're checking a fact for India. So for the embeddings will be something related to India keyword.
Yes. So basically, for example, let's say, so for example, let's say there are 3 facts. Okay. Now what will happen? Let's say your fact book has 3 facts. India is in Asia. Okay. Let's say this is the first fact. Okay. Second fact in your book is, for example, cricket is a sport. Okay, cricket is a sport. And third fact is, let's say there are 7 like I don't know, like 7 or how many are there? 5 or 6, like 7 continents in the world, for example, right? And now you ask a question that what is the for example, where is India? For example, you ask this particular question. Okay. Now tell me one thing. When you have to pick one statement, because out of this you cannot pass the whole, as we discussed. Right now these are 3, but eventually there will be like hundreds and lakhs of facts. You have to pick the right fact because you cannot pass all of the fact. So semantically, through which statement will it match?
First one,
right? So what will happen is that the question that will go that given that, then this will be your, which you will come here. Okay, answer user question. And where is the question coming for? Question is coming from here. So basically what happens that when a text is talking about something, remember how these embeddings are created, that we created. They are trained on some parameters, that how much a particular text is talking about a certain topic, right? And that's how this particular match will be done, semantic, by meaning based. How did you decide? Why did you answer me India, this particular? Because you know that this particular line speaks about some country, and this is not relevant to the question, this is not relevant to the question. So this particular whatever we are going to create, it will dynamically pick this statement only. It will leave all these. And suppose next time I ask a question, what is cricket? So next time, will it pick the statement 1? No, it will pick the statement 2. Is it clear?
Sarthak, I have a question.
Yeah.
That so as in the previous example, it was happy and there were 2 contexts, and here it is like so we are picking the context from our question itself, right? So
Yeah.
whatever is our is in the cardinal axis, whatever this axes are,
Yes.
those are basically our context, right?
Yes.
On the basis of which we are determining what our token values, like the embeddings are.
Yes.
For each token.
See what is going to, before that, let's see what is going to happen. That first of all, you have this particular fact file, right, which we had. Okay, just listen to this once again. So what you will do, you will break down it into multiple facts. For example, if you see, I have broken it into multiple facts. This is the fact 1, this is the fact 2, fact 3, and fact 4, right? And for each fact, an embedding is created. Correct? Is it understandable?
So my only question is, when embedding is created,
yes.
So how is this embedding being created?
This is created by your LLM or any model that you are going to use, because they are trained on some parameters.
Okay, so they don't need any other context. This is being done
You
by
don't
the.
need to provide that my embedding should be trained on this. No, ChatGPT has 1536 embeddings, like qualities, right? So for every value, it will, for everything, it will give it some value. Okay.
Okay.
By default.
Okay.
ChatGPT or any other LLM that you're going to take. Okay. Any question, anyone? Chavi, is it clear? You were asking something. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. Anyone, any other doubt before I move ahead? So what is going to happen? You take the fact text, right? You will split it into all different facts, and you will have these facts stored as embeddings. And you will store all these in a vector database. Just like we have a SQL database where we store a relational database, okay, we have a vector database as well. You guys would have read somewhere that the where we store vector embeddings. Okay, so all these things will be stored in a vector database. Okay, so now what is going to happen? So now there are like lot of vector database. There is 𝗂𝗏DB, there is Pinecone, there are a lot of databases. So let me show you eventually how my architecture is going to look like. Okay, so let's first of all create that particular architecture. I know it is little new for you, for a lot of you guys, but this is very important. This is a whole NLP plus LLM, right? So you need to know. Wait a second. So let us understand now how what will be the architecture of my solution of this particular application that we are going to build. That what will be happening, that user will be sending me a question here. Okay, sorry, so let's forget that. First of all, there will be a document with me, correct? So there will be a document with me, or you can say fact file. Okay, so let's say this is there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this document into multiple chunks. What is chunks? Basically, you split them into small parts. So basically, you will say chunk 1. Okay, so this is your chunk 1. Okay, and similarly, you will create multiple chunks of your document that you are going to get. Okay, now each chunk that we are going to create embedding for that. So we will take all of these chunks and we will create embedding E1, okay, E2, E3 and E4. Okay, there can be like so many chunks. I'm just explaining that this was just one, but there will be a lot of chunk. Okay, is it clear? And anyone any doubt till this point? Chunk 3, chunk 4. Okay, so is it clear? We took the document, we split it into multiple parts, okay, just like the fact file, and we created an embedding for each of the point. Guys, any doubt? Okay, now what is going to happen is that all these particular thing will be stored in a vector database. Okay, so I will put these embeddings in a vector database where these embeddings, so these embeddings you cannot store in a normal SQL database. You have to store them in a vector database. Okay, so now after this, what is going to happen? user is going to give you a question, for example. So let's say a user question comes in. Okay, user question comes in. So what will you do? That you will first of all convert the user question into an embedding as well. Okay, so you will convert this into an embedding as well, and then you will match it with these E1, E2, E3, E4. Okay, so for example, so you will have all these E1, E2, E3, E4. So E1, E2, E3, E4. Okay, you will match the user question embedding. So this is the question embedding, and you will match it with this one, and you will see which it matches with which particular one the most, right? So suppose you will get an order that, okay, you will have a match with everything. So you will get an order that, okay, it matches with most. So for example, it matches with E2 the most, then E1. Okay, then it matches with for example, E1, E2, then it matches with E4, and then it matches with E3. This is the order. So what does it mean? That your question embedding matches most with the E2, then with E1, then with E4, then with E3. Okay, so let us say you will select E2 out of it. So what you are going to do, you're going to take this question. Okay, question, this embedding. So what you will do, corresponding to E2, what was your text? This was chunk 2. So you will take this chunk plus user embedding, and then you will pass it into your GPT or your any LLM. Okay, and then you will get the answer that you need. This is the architecture diagram of this particular RAG. This is called RAG. So why is it called RAG? Let me tell you that what happens. Normally any LLM generates the text. Okay, any LLM generate the text. But what you are doing here, you are you're taking, you have a document, right? You are retrieving the relevant part from that particular document, right? So what is happening, you have a question, right? And you have a document. You are picking the right one. For example, related to this question, this particular part of the document was more relevant. Okay, so you are retrieving this. So that's why it is called retrieval. Okay, retrieval means you're retrieving a particular, the right segment from the main document, then you're augmenting it with the user question. So what does augment mean? That you're adding it with the question, retrieval part plus the question part. Okay, now you will give this to LLM. Okay, and this will generate the text for you. Okay, so this is why it is called retrieval. This question you can say augmented. So retrieval augmented generation. In short word, you can simply call it RAG as well. Right, this is a very most important part of generative AI is RAG. You can read it anywhere. For example, if I have to, for let's say RAG explain, let's say if I go any Medium article, let's talk about retrieval augmented generation. Okay, people will give you these diagrams. If you see, user has given the question, then context, then prompt, then model, then output. Okay, and similarly, let me explore a couple of more, then I will take the questions. After this we will build the coding part. So see, all these diagrams are this only. Eventually it is this only what I explained, that you take a user question, you convert it into embedding. Okay, and see, basic RAG pipeline, you take the document, you chunk it, you embedding, and you put in a vector database. Okay, after that user question comes, you what you do, you embed it as well. And top K, what does top K mean? That I don't always need to get the top one. Sometimes I need to have top 2 or top 3, right? Relevant context. So I will take the top K elements, and then I will pass in LLM, and that I will get the response. So this is the whole architecture of any RAG, retrieval augmented generation. Okay, now please questions.
Sir, what if we select a particular chunk, but that chunk has most optimal likings, but the actual answer is there in the another chunk which is not being retrieved.
No,
Then
so
what would happen?
tell me one thing. When you're doing embedding matching, right? If actual answer is lying in another chunk, why will it not pick that? That is why we are doing this
because
retrieval.
let's say 10 answers in one chunk matches, and in the other chunk only there is one line which doesn't matches. So technically, if suppose in one chunk there are 15 lines, out of that 10 lines is related to the actual question, right?
Yes.
But the actual answer is in another chunk, but in that another chunk only one line matches with the question. So
I got it. Right. So what you do?
that chunk was not selected.
Yes. So what you do for them, basically, that's why I'm saying you don't only pick the top one chunk. Okay, you always do top k generation. If you see this architecture diagram, you do top k. Okay, so that
Yes,
you
yes,
don't
got
lose,
it. Perfect.
you don't lose the context. Okay?
Yes, got it. Perfect. Thank you.
Guys, any other question before I move to the coding part and building this application?
Yes, basically, you said that we take question, we take question, make into some chunk. Sorry, let me start again. Uh, we take document, split into the chunk, and that embedded, and the embedded data is stored in the vector database. And
Yes.
whenever the question came, the question also must be in the embedded form, and
Yes.
then the we pick the relevant k embedded from the vector database, and
Yes.
then the pass it to the LMM.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
So, my question is here, sir, how, like, who is going to help in the embedding part?
Yeah, so that's what I'm coming for. To create embedding, there are a lot of models. Okay, these are LLMs only eventually. So they can be closed source, they can be open source. So in this video we are going to use OpenAI embeddings, but there are a lot of embeddings which you can use, free source, paid source. There are a lot of things available.
Okay, and for the chunking, we are going to use NLP, correct?
Sorry.
We are going to use any other mechanism for chunking or LP?
So chunking has a lot of strategy. I'm not going into them right now because we are already like 2 hours into the class, right? Now I have to cover the coding part. There are a lot of chunking strategies, chunking strategy, retrieval strategies. They are there, but we will cover them some other time. Okay,
Okay, sure.
guys. Any question? Anyone before I move to the coding part? This is the architecture diagram. Let's see once again what we are going to do. We are going to take the document that we are so user is going to upload a PDF. Okay, so now let's go to the diagram which I opened initially and I told we'll come it to later. Now let's understand this user. So what is the flow of this particular application? User will upload a PDF. Okay, now we will open the PDF and we will parse the text. We'll take the text of that particular PDF, then we'll break the text into multiple chunks. Okay, and then we will store the chunks as embeddings in a vector database. I'll speak about the vector database in few minutes now. Okay, now I have this particular thing sorted. Now user will give me a question, right? I will convert that into an embedding and I'll find the most relevant chunks using embeddings in the vector store. Okay, then I'll create a prompt, format the question plus chunk in the prompt and send ChatGPT to the response. This is the architecture. This is the flow of this particular application, how it will work in backend. Any question, anyone on this?
So, I mean, are we calling this as the RAG architecture?
Yeah, this is the RAG architecture. Yes.
Okay, suppose if you're not chunking the data and just sending it all data to the LLM, are we calling it? I mean, suppose if I enter a question in ChatGPT,
Yes.
so Does that in the backend, I mean, cause the RAG architecture, or does it directly sends, I mean, all the
If you're
data
not
and
providing any
gets.
context, if you're
Hmm,
just putting a question in
hmm,
ChatGPT,
okay,
ChatGPT will answer as per its knowledge. You are not using RAG there. When do
okay,
you use RAG? We use RAG when ChatGPT, when you need those answers which ChatGPT cannot, right? For example, my company information, my personal information, something like that. Okay.
okay, okay, got it. Okay,
So
thank
so
you.
let me first of all show you what is going to happen in the application. Then we will build this particular thing from the start. So let me run this part. So this is the code that we will write. We will not write the front end part because yeah, please Abhi, you can ask and others as well who have raised their
One
question.
last question, Satvik.
Yep.
What is the difference between fine tuning and RAG? Can you just like
So
explain it?
yeah, just give me a second. I'll explain. Okay. So first, let's see what is going to happen. This is the front end that application which we are going to build. So
Sir, do we have the same code in Google Colab as also ipynb file?
you can create in Google Colab as well, no problem. Okay, so this is the front end. So what will happen? I will upload a PDF file. Okay, so I'll so let's say I have this I have a PDF of incorrect facts, okay, which are basically so it has 5 pages. So first of all, what will happen? It will upload. It will take some time. Okay, so I have not actually optimized this coding. So what will happen that it will take some time to upload the PDF. So let me show you the PDF. What does it look like? Okay, so if we go to this is incorrect facts. Okay, this has some incorrect facts. For example, if you read about it, Earth is shaped like a perfect cube. Okay, and let's say Mount Everest is an active volcano. Eiffel Tower. Remember this question that I asked initially, that it was built in New York, right? These kind of things. So let me so I will straight away, let's say, ask any question. For example, let's say uh, let's pick any question. For example, I'll ask this Eiffel Tower, or I will ask human bones. What are human bones made of? This says that human bones are made of entirely wood, right? Which is incorrect. But this particular application has to answer me wood only. Okay. So what is going to happen? Let me show you. So when the PDF gets uploaded, it will show you that okay, PDF embedded successfully. Now you can ask question, right? So now I will ask, what is human bone made of? Okay, I'll ask this particular question. Now let's first of all, let's before answering this, let's ask ChatGPT directly. What is human bone made of? Okay, let's see what is it like. It is made of a combination of organic and inorganic materials, which is true. Okay, now I will use the same text question and I will pass it here. Okay, and I very good. I have to delete few things first of all. Yeah, that is the reason. So just give me a second. I'll have to delete these indexes, otherwise it will not work. Okay, so let me run this again. So I will upload this PDF, incorrect facts. So meanwhile, yeah. So first let it come. Then I will answer that. What is the difference between fine tuning and so what happens in fine tuning? Basically, you update your model completely, right? So that whenever you are going to ask next time, the model will respond that way. Here, if you see, we are not changing ChatGPT or any LLM. We are just providing it additional context. That please use this as an example to answer. So let's say, let me ask this: what is human bone made of? So I have given this question. It will take 1 minute to respond. Yeah. So the question was that in fine tuning, you are actually playing with the model. You are changing the model. In RAG, you are not changing the model. In RAG, you are just giving it an additional context that use this context and then reply. In fine tuning, you are changing the parameters of your model. Is it clear?
So can you tell with an example like how
I'll explain. So see,
Oh,
I put this question. What did it do? It picked the retrieve context. So it picked few facts which were related to my question. Human bone made of. If you see, my text contains human bone made of. So it picked this particular part. Human bones are made of, which is the right part, right? Then he picked humans have some. This is also relevant to my question, although less relevant, right? Then something else also it has taken off, which is not too much matching with my example. So the most most closest sentence is this, second most closest is this, third most closest is this. Okay, now this whole thing will go into the ChatGPT, that given below information, okay, answer user question. And what was the user question? That what is human bone made of? Okay, so yeah, now this is the problem with prompting, that you have to explicitly mention use only the information that I gave. See, now it is giving me the answer. Human bones are entirely made of wood, right? So this is what is happening here. So this is what we are going to build. Now coming to the question that you guys said, that fine tuning versus here. So what happens that, so let's talk about fine tuning and let's talk about RAG. Okay. So what happens in fine tuning? You have, for example, remember I told you there were model parameters. Okay. Like this. You were training them on your data, the data that you have given. That okay, for example, if given this information, for example, let's say, how would I talk about that? Okay, always talk in this particular tone. Okay, always reply with this particular thing. So there, whatever data of company data, let's say you are using a financial data or a medical data, that okay, my company has these many medical devices. Okay, so whenever user asks any question, he should get only reply from this only. Okay, so what you are going to do in the model, there will be a parameter related to medical information. You will update that information with your data. Okay, so your model will be a new model. It will not be a chat GPT now. It will be a new GPT. Okay, which has information whose parameters are tweaked as per your data. But it is not happening in RAG. In RAG, what you're doing, you are taking GPT. Okay, you're saying that use this context only that I'm providing. Okay, so you're using the logic of GPT. Okay, and to that you are basically giving a context. Here you're changing the logic of your LLM. That is the difference between fine tuning and RAG.
So basically it means fine tuning is very expensive.
Fine tuning is very expensive, yes.
Okay, but if I'm as a generative AI engineer, I can directly use RAG, right, instead of using the fine tuning.
Yes, so that is the point, right? People used to do fine tune the models earlier. Okay, now what happens, for example, let us say your company has 10 projects. Okay, now will you fine tune 10 models separately? and use them for separate cases. So for fine-tuning, you'll have to create 10 models separately, okay, for each of the cases. It will be very costly. So what you can do, rather, you can keep the same model and you can create different RAG pipelines for each of the application. Correct? So it will be very like money friendly for you. Is it clear?
Yes.
Any doubt, anyone?
Can we use databases for RAG?
Yeah, we can use a lot of things for RAG. Like this is not only PDF. So for RAG, there are you can use SQL database. You can use, there is a thing called knowledge graphs. Okay, you can use PDF. There are unlimited things that you can use. Today, I'm just going to show you an implementation using PDF, but let me show you the PPT which I was covering. So if you come here, there are multiple implementations. You can use any. Okay, I don't think that is in this in this particular slide, but can we directly connect database to that? Yes, so databases are, how will you connect database to a ChatGPT? It is done, but that is done separately. But how will ChatGPT identify the right context? That is the main point, right? A database has a lot of information. How will you tell ChatGPT that pick this information only? So the database has a separate case. Like the project that we built last week was SQL chatbot, right? There, what we did, we take the user question, we had integrated it with a SQL database, right? And then we were answering. So that project was separate. Today we are taking a SQL query. Okay. So today we are taking a natural language query. Okay. We are parsing it to LLM with reference of my PDF. Now this could be a PDF, this could be a dashboard, this could be any information that you want to provide, and now it will answer me. Okay. Is it clear? Yeah, please ask me, guys. After this, I'm moving to coding because I have to show that part as well. So shall we move to coding part? Any doubt, anyone? It will be clear. The parameter we look for is not available in the. No, no. So you can update. Fine tuning you do only when the parameter is available, right? So if the LLM models have all the parameters, you can fine tune them. So using whatever techniques are there, we go for RAG because we don't want to. Because as I mentioned, fine tuning is expensive. Second part, you have multiple use cases in your company. You don't want to create like a new model for every use case, right? So what do you want to do? You want to use a single model which should be able to answer everything. Okay. So all good there. So guys, last like I'll need 30-40 more minutes to do the coding part, and please focus on that part because that is something, when you understand the coding part, you will understand the architecture more clearly. Okay. So let's move towards the coding part. So no, so that is a good question. The information that is you are providing using RAG, right? LLM will not self-learn. So that is only for that particular question. For example, now if you remove the document from there, and if you remove the connection of the vector database, LLM will come back to normal. It is just like a temporary, you can say a temporary information that you have given to it. When once you remove the connection, that information is gone, LLM will be back to normal. Is it clear? For fine tuning, the model self learns, but for RAG the model does not self learn. That is the difference. Okay, so in fine tuning the model improves itself. You provide the data, model learns it and keeps on improving. In RAG it does not happen. Yes. So that is the main thing, right? That you don't provide your personal, you don't, any company does not want to provide their information to any LLM, because remember, whenever you are chatting with LLM, there's a thing, it clearly mentions in the backend that we will use the information that you provide us for training and improving our model, right? And for example, if you're working for a bank, a financial institution, right, or some other place which information cannot be shared, so you cannot share your company's database structure, company's information to LLM, because that will be again breach of your privacy. Okay, so what you do a RAG there, that okay, I will not provide the information to my LLM, I'll simply use RAG, where it will connect it with for that particular question, and done. ChatGPT has not learned anything from that. And there comes the concept of agents as well, but we will cover that some other time. Okay, is it clear? So now let's move toward the coding part. That so first of all, let's just keep the architecture in mind, that what we are going to do. We are going to do, first of all, take a document, chunk it, embed it. After embedding, we'll put it in a vector database. After that, a user question will come. I'll embed the question. Okay, then I will do a similarity search, that how close does it match, and then I will retrieve the most closest retrievals, and then I will pass to my LLM for the answer. This is the architecture that I'm going to create in my code. So let's go towards it. So I'll close this. I'll create a new code for you guys. So those who do not know coding, first of all, whenever you are starting coding in VS Code or any IDE, first of all, you have to set up a virtual environment. Okay. Now I have explained virtual environment thoroughly in a video I posted on the YouTube channel. Virtual environment is basically what, that whenever you do multiple projects, for example, you are building an application, you do not want the version, you will be using a lot of dependencies, installations, right? You do not want them to interfere with each other. That's why we use a virtual environment concept. Okay, I've explained this in thorough detail in a YouTube video I have put there. You can check it from there. But so just understand for now that we create separate environment for separate projects, right? So we are going to do a new project, so we will create a new environment. So first of all, let's open the file. I have this file in my desktop, RAG workshop. Okay, it has the PDF, which is incorrect PDF. Okay, so I will go towards it. So let me first of all open the folder. Okay, so this is the part that I am having now. First of all, I will have to install some libraries which I am going to use. Okay, so what you'll do, I'll go to terminal. Now before that, first of all, what I need to do, I need to create a virtual environment. So how is it created? You create Python 3 mvenv, and let's call it Gen AI class. Okay, and then I have to activate the virtual environment. So how will I activate? I will use source, okay, Gen AI class bin activate. Those who do not understand how it is happening, don't worry. I'll send the link to that video after the class. But just assume we have created a new folder or a virtual environment where we are going to do our project. Okay, so this is the first part. Now, so what I will do, I'll create, first of all, I have to download the installations. So how do you do in Python? You do pip install. For example, I will have to use LangChain. Okay, I will have to use LangChain OpenAI. Okay, then I will be using, for example, LangChain. Okay, let me first of all have these. Then I will see what do I need. And then I also need a library to read my PDF. Okay, so there is a library called 𝗙PDF2. Okay, this is used to read the PDF. Okay, so we will install the libraries as we move forward. So first of all, let's start building the application. Okay, so I'll call it rag.py. Okay, this is my Python  file. Guys, do follow the coding, at least understand the architecture that I'm going to do. Okay, so first of all, what I will do from, so my first step was to take the PDF. Okay, read the PDF. So let's write down the steps. Step 1 is read the PDF. Okay, so let's do that first of all. So how we'll do that? We'll import, or sorry, from 𝗙PDF2, which is the library, we will import PDF reader. Okay, import PDF reader. So how does PDF reading will happen? Let me first explain you the logic that any PDF that you have. So a PDF is a collection of pages. Okay, so what will happen? A PDF has, let's say, multiple pages. This is your PDF. So sorry, I'm really sorry. So this is page 1, and there will be like page 2, page 3, 4, like lot of pages. So what you will do, you will create a string first of a blank string. Okay, which will initially blank. So what you'll go to the first page. Okay, extract all the content and you will put in this string. Okay, so let's say page 1 content is there. Then you will move to the page 2. Okay, and then you will copy the content of page 2, then page 3, and then page 4, and so on. So that is what I'm going to do. I'll take a blank string which will initially be empty, and I will keep on adding the content from page 1, page 2, page 3, and so on to it. Okay, so what will I do here? This is my, so first of all, I will do, let's say text is equal to blank string. I've created a blank string right initially. So PDF underscore reader, I'll create an object which will be equal to this is an object, this is an instance of this class PDF reader. PDF reader. And what is the PDF file name? So I'll pass the location of the PDF file, or I will simply pass the name. So if I have to see, this is incorrectfacts.pdf. Okay, so I'll name this as incorrect_facts.pdf. So this is the file that I'm having. So what I did, I just used this to read it. Now what I have to do, as I explained, I have to go page by page, extract the content from that page and add to this text variable. So how it will happen, that for page in PDF reader, so this is the object that is created. So PDF reader dot pages. Okay, this will have a lot of pages. So for each page, what do I need to do? I will have to text plus equal. So what I'll do, basically text is equal to text plus I will extract the content from that particular page, right? So what I will do, extract PDF underscore reader dot pages, text, sorry, okay, plus equal to page dot extract. Okay, so this is the extract text function. So what does it do? That it goes to each of the page, it extract the text, and it will simply keep on adding to this particular part. And after every page, I will give a new line. Okay, so for new line, we use this particular symbol. So what will happen? Like this is the PDF, right? If you see, this is the page 1. So it will copy the content of page 1. After that, it will create a new line. Then it will copy the content of page 2 and so on. So this is it. Now let's just check if it is working. Print text. So if I run this, a second. See, I have got all the text. Is it clear, everyone? So this is the text that I got from the PDF. Now I'm able to read the text from PDF. Clear, everyone? Any doubt in this?
Hello, why are you hard coding that PDF name? If you are going to
because it is
browse
already present in my folder, right? I could have simply given the location as well.
If I want to choose another PDF, then it will automatically access this PDF
Yeah,
only.
yeah.
Because we have created backend only for this file.
Yes, I am creating backend only for this file. I will share the updated code where you can just upload any PDF. Okay.
Okay.
So for
because
example,
in Git repo, same code is there. That's why I'm
no, in Git repo, there are two codes. Let me show you. If you go here, there's a code of RAG backend. Here, I am just simply creating for this particular.
Yes,
If you
same.
go to RAG, front end, okay, here I'm showing you that you can upload a new. So you're uploading a file using upload a PDF. You're giving that option.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. No problem. So, is this clear to everyone? Any doubt till this point that how we created the text from the PDF? Okay, if you don't understand Python coding, don't worry, you can see that after class, but understand how I'm doing it. Okay, so this was my first step where I created the particular part. Okay, now first of all, before I move ahead, let's understand a little bit LangChain. Okay, what is LangChain, because that is important to tell. So if you see LangChain is a framework, is a Python library which is used to create AI applications. Okay, so what does it do? That in any application, like for example, in this application also, we have a series of tasks. If you see that, for example, whenever we have a PDF, we take a PDF, then we chunk it, okay, then we embed it, and there are like lot of tasks. For example, there is task 1, there is task 2, then there is task 3, okay, up to task n. Okay, if you notice, these all things are linear. Basically, they will happen one after other. First this will happen, then this will happen, then this will happen, and so on will be happening. So what LangChain does is that whatever steps you are going in your process, it will chain them together, right? So it will basically take them and put them together. So what is going to happen, that suppose you have a task 1 here, okay, the output of task 1 will become the input of task 2. Okay, so output from this will become input to this, and that's how these things will be chained together. That's why it is called LangChain, that you are chaining the language whichever you are using, and you're chaining all the processes together. Okay, any doubt in this? LangChain requires separate understanding, but right now just understand that LangChain is a library which help you create LLM applications. And how does it do that? It takes all the steps and it ties them together. Okay, so that it for example, so that right now what was there were different tasks. That task 1 was there, task 2 was there, task 3 was there. Okay, what it will do, it will take them in a single bucket. Okay, it will chain them together so that all this collectively perform as a single unit. Okay, this is the objective of LangChain. Any doubt, anyone? Okay, guys, if you have, you can please for sure ask. Okay, so now we move to the step 2 in my coding. The step 1 was to read the PDF. So what is my second step? Second step is to convert it into chunks. Step 2 is to create chunks from this PDF. Okay, so I have this text present. If I see this text variable has all my chunks. Now I want to create so this is step 1. Now I will do the step 2. So what will my step 2 be? So for step 2, I need LangChain provides a class which is called text splitter. Okay, so I'm going to use that. So from LangChain, again, these things you will learn with experience, that once you like start exploring LangChain a little bit more, you will realize, okay, with this application or this class I have to choose. So LangChain has like there are a lot of chunking methods. I am right now just using a basic one, dot text splitter import character text splitter. Okay, there's a character text splitter, there's a recursive text splitter, there are a lot of things, but right now I'm just using character text splitter. Okay, so let's start creating this particular chunking part, that I have got the text part and now I have to do the chunking. So what I will do, I'll create an object that text underscore splitter. This will be equal to what? So I will take this class character text splitter from LangChain. Okay, so character text splitter, I will take this, and then I have to pass few parameters inside it. Okay, so now let me tell you what all parameters are there inside this character text splitter. First of all, that you need to provide is chunk size. Okay, chunk underscore size. So what does chunk size mean? That your PDF, for example, here it has a lot of things. Okay, so it has, for example, let's say there are a lot of characters. You want to limit the size, that okay, one chunk should be of, for example, 500 characters only, 200 characters only, or whatever. So chunk size means that maximum length that you can have in that chunk is that you are going to provide. So for this example, let us say I'm going to take my maximum chunk size to be equal to 200. Okay, so this is my chunk size, 200 characters I have to take. Now then there comes a concept of chunk underscore overlap. Okay, so chunk underscore overlap. So what does chunk overlap means? If you see this text, when you're creating any question, anyone?
Is the chunk size will impact our
Yes,
embedding
yes.
part?
So chunk size will determine your embedding part. So that's why we have to constantly check which chunk size will suit best to my application. Okay, right now I'm using
So
200, but we can optimize it by checking various things.
so what is the range of optimizing? Like suppose 200 to 500
Totally
is
depends
any
upon your
specific
use case. Totally depends upon use case. Generally, a max up to 1000 is good.
okay, up to 1000.
Max up to 1000. Max up to 1000. 1000.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Okay, so what is this overlap? Is means that for two chunks, let's say this is your chunk one, and what happens that chunk because I mentioned 200 words, right? So chunk one, let's say, starts from here and it goes till bananas. Okay, now chunk B will start from this R. I don't want. What I want it to start from fact 3 only. Okay, so if you see, there will be an overlap between two chunks. So what is the size that you want to provide? So that is the 20 that I have given. The chunk overlap should be maximum 20. Is it clear? Anyone, any doubt on this? And the last part comes is length function. Now you might ask, is this 200 character length or it is your word length? So that you have to provide here, that length of your length, length of your, there's a length function that you need to provide here. So right now I'm using character. So that's why I'm using this length function. So what it will do, it will take the character length, not the word length. So character length means this is one, like this fact has four characters, right? So total 4. So I'm using character as my length. So people sometimes use word length as well. It totally depends upon your case. And I need to add one more thing, that is separator. That is, every chunk should be separated by a new line. So I will do simply separator equal to n. Okay, so this is it. Okay, so you'll create a character text splitter where what you have given, that this is my separator, this is my chunk size, this is my chunk overlap, and this is my length function. Okay, you did this part. After that, what you do, you will chunk this particular text what we created. So how do you do that? You'll create a variable chunks. Okay, it will be equal to an instance of this particular. So we created text splitter, and what will be passed? We will pass this text here. So this will automatically chunk the result. Now I want to view how the chunks are created and like what are they. So let me do one thing. Let me first clear everything from here. Okay, so what I will do for chunk in chunks, okay, for chunk no, not for this. Let's do one thing. For I in range length of chunks, okay, I want to display all the chunks that we are having. So we'll print f string. Okay, so chunk I, and what is the chunk? So I'll provide the chunks I. Okay, so what is happening? I'm printing all the chunks. So chunk 1 will come like this, chunk 2 will come like this. So let's first of all run this. Let's see what does come, what does it produce. Character text splitter. Wait a second, just a second. Character text splitter is not callable. Character text splitter is equal to this. Wait a second. Print chunks. Text splitter underscore X. Oh, sorry, this is my bad. So it is text splitter. It's a class. Yeah, it is not. You have to call a method inside it that is split underscore text. Yeah, that's my bad. Right. So what you will do, you will take this text splitter and you will basically print the elements inside it. Now I will write down the. So let me just go back. So what I have to do for dot split underscore text. Okay, now it will run. So if you see, it has created a lot of chunks for me. Let's go. Chunk 0. This is your chunk 0. Okay, then your chunk 1, then your chunk 2. That's how it has created. Now I can play around with my chunk size. For example, let's say I want a bigger chunk size. What I can do, I can make it 400. Okay, and I will run it again. So now if I see, let's go from start. See, this is chunk 1. Chunk, right? This is this length. And then this is chunk 2. Okay, this is of this length. Okay, now my chunk size has increased. Okay, that's how you can play around with your chunk size, and you will eventually see which chunk size fits best for you. Okay, is it clear, everyone? Any doubt? Guys, any doubt? Okay, now we will do two things. Now we talked about vector database, right? So we will be using this particular vector database, which is called Pinecone, which I just opened. So let's go to the website. First of all, Pinecone is a vector database. So I'll log in here. There are a lot of vector database. This is so Pinecone is a paid, is paid. A few part of it is free. You can also use 𝗂𝗏DB, and there are like a lot of other vector databases which you can use. Okay, anyone, any question before I start? So because it has limitations, so I have to delete it again and again, because in free version you can only use up to 5 like vector things, right? So you can simply use a 𝗂𝗏𝗏 as well, but visually this is easy to explain. That's why I'm using Pinecone. Okay. Any other question, anyone, please, before I start? Okay, so let's start with Pinecone. So how does it happen is that if you go to website, they have totally given how to use Pinecone. Okay, they have given all the steps. You can drop down. Suppose you are using some other programming language, okay, you can select them. So for example, first they have given go to install Pinecone. So what I will do, I'll do pip install Pinecone in my system. Okay, so let's do this. Pip install Pinecone. It will install the Pinecone. So let's write down the step 3. Set up Pinecone. Okay, so I have created the chunks. Now I have to store them as embeddings, remember, right? So step 3 is I have to store them as embeddings. I'll be moving little fast because we have few minutes left only, right? So what will be happening, that every you will take this particular code and it will give you an API key. Okay, so what I will do, I'll copy this particular part, I'll move to my code and I will copy it here. I'm showing you everything from scratch, right? This is the reason. So generally you don't provide API keys here, so you have to you can basically go and put them in an environment file, but it is fine right now because this is a free version, so I don't mind sharing it like this. Otherwise, what you can do is you can go to an environment variable and you can store it there. Okay, so I'll set up my connection with Pinecone here. Okay, now what I need to do, I need to create an index. Okay, so for example, for my case, I need to create the project. Index is basically the project. So let's say this is my project RAG demo. Okay, this is what I'm doing right now. So after this, what I have to do, if I just copy the syntax from there, they have given me this particular part. I will explain you what does it mean. So if you see that index, so let's call it index. Okay, index name is equal to RAG demo. That is present here. Okay, so this particular is my project name that you have to create. This is the API key which will be given to you. Okay, now comes the next part, dimensions. Okay, so dimension, remember how many dimensions this ChatGPT has? So every model will have different dimensions. Okay, so ChatGPT has 1536, which I told you. So I'll put this as 1536 dimensions. Okay, and on what basis you want to compare? Remember we spoke about cosine similarity, we spoke about R2 squared. There are a lot of other things, so we will use them. I'm using right now cosine similarity. Rest is your server, AWS, and you don't need to change them, right? It is simply like this. So once it is created, now you need to create an object which is equal to index is equal to pc dot index, and you will call index underscore name, which you created. Okay, so this part is done. So I have set up my Pinecone for this. Okay, now comes my next part, that is I have to create embeddings. Step 4 is create embeddings. I'm moving little fast, guys, right? So because I have to finish in next 15 minutes. So embeddings. So for this, what do you need to do? Let's go to step 4. But if you have any doubt, you can keep asking me. I will answer while coding. Okay. So step 4 is create embeddings. So how embeddings are created is you need to have an open AI key for that, right? So first of all, what will we do? We will go to particular, we'll first install OpenAI embeddings from this. Remember, there are a lot of libraries through which you can install, but so from, we already have LangChain OpenAI, I think, right? So we'll do from LangChain OpenAI import OpenAI embeddings, right? So I have this embeddings present, but you can use any other model as well for embeddings. Now to create this embedding, you need to pass an environment variable. So I'll create an .env file, and here I will use OpenAI underscore API underscore key. So what does this mean, API key? That for every text that query that you are going to do use in ChatGPT, it will be going as an API connection. Okay, API connection means talking to a website or like those kind of things. So you use OpenAI, you go to products, API login, okay, and then select the profile here, and you click on user API keys, and you will create a new, so let's call it RAG, okay, and you will create a new secret key. So don't share this with anyone. You can cancel from here. Okay. So I will go to the code. I'll paste the OpenAI key here. So Control S. And now what I need to do, I need to download my OpenAI key variable in this particular environment. So there is a method from so pip install python.env. Okay. So what I will do, I will have to do from .env import load.env. So what does this method do is, whatever, remember these API keys that you have created, these are your private information. You don't want to share with anyone else. So you don't want to pass your API values directly in the code. That's why you use these methods. So they load the environment variable things into your code, and they will directly pass. So without actually passing the key, just like here we have mentioned the key value, but for OpenAI, I will not mention it. It will automatically go. Okay. So now this is the part where I did the OpenAI part. Now I'll create the embeddings. So what will happen? So embeddings is equal to OpenAI embeddings, and I will call this function. Okay. Now what will happen, that the chunks that we have created here, if you go, for example, the chunks that we have created, it is in the form of a list. So I have to basically store all that in a new place in my vector database. For what I will do, for I comma chunk in enumerate, and I will call it chunks. So this is a list. Chunks is a list. So chunk has a list, has chunks, and it has its indexes. So what will we do? I'll start embedding each of them. So I will do chunk underscore embedding. Okay. And then I have to call this embeddings function that I've created, this one. So I'll call this embedding dot embed underscore query. So what does it do? It takes the chunk, it embeds it using OpenAI embedding. Okay. So you need to pass what you need to embed. I need to, so what I'm doing here, I'm taking a chunk and I'm embedding it here. Okay. And then I will push it into the Pinecone database. So how to push it? We have to use a method that is index, which we created here, right? This Pinecone we created. So dot upsert method is used to push your variables in your Pinecone database. I know a lot of things might be going above your head, but don't worry, like bear me for a few more minutes. Okay. So string I comma chunk embedding. Okay. And then we will have we have to pass a dictionary, that is text, and then we will use it as chunk. Okay. So what will happen once I run this code? Let's see what is going to happen. Okay. So now it is, what is doing, it is embedding my information. Okay. It is embedding all the chunks into Pinecone database. So once this code is run, I will show you how the embeddings are created in my Pinecone database. We will see that. So let's just give it 20-30 seconds to run, and then we will.
I have a question.
Yeah.
you have passed the cosine parameter in
Yeah.
𝗂𝗏.
Yes.
So, what is the use of basically? I thought that embedding is done by using cosine method parameter, but
Embedding
you
is
have
not done
passed.
using cosine. Embedding is created by OpenAI. Cosine parameter will be used to when we compare query with your match database.
Okay, okay, for the comparison, basically
For the
for the
comparison,
retrieval.
this is for the retrieval. Yes, for the
Uh,
retrieval we will use. So now if I go, if I show you Pinecone database, see this folder is created rag demo, right? And this is the value. Now if I go inside it, you will see that my all chunks, for example, this is chunk, this is the chunk text, okay, and this is the embedding that it is created at the top. You guys are seeing this, right? This is the chunk, this is its embedding. So all the chunks have been splitted like this, and its embeddings are created. Okay, any doubt, please tell me.
so in Pinecone, you have written something related to index, right? So why is it called that?
It is just a project name.
Okay. A dot create index is a method, right? So
The create index is the method, yes.
what exactly is it doing?
So it is creating this project, basically this project rag demo which I created, right?
Okay.
So just like in your database, in a SQL database, you create a table, right? In vector database, it is called as index.
Okay. Okay. All right. Got it.
Right? So see, this is rag, this is an index. So just like your SQL has data table, this has uh, index. Okay.
Okay. Now got it.
Okay, now I'll move to the last two parts of the coding. So now we have created the embedding. My next part is to basically
So
create
I
an,
have a question,
yeah,
Santik. Basically, whenever we update some fact, so it will recreate the index the whole or just update the index.
whenever we sorry, can you repeat?
Suppose I have 100 facts right now in my PDF, and I want to updated the PDF and rerun this particular program
Yeah,
with 200 facts.
yeah,
So
so that is the
uh,
problem. When you rerun it, it will overwrite, it will overwrite it.
so it overrided, not updated.
No, yeah, not update.
So
So
is there a way
yeah,
to just to
there is a
update?
way to sort. Yeah, as I mentioned, this is just a basic class. There is a way to sort that as well.
Okay, okay.
Once we move little more towards advanced rag, right, how to handle those cases when we have every time you run, it will create. So what will happen, every time you run the code, it will start creating same duplicates, right? How to get rid of them. So that is an advanced concept. We'll do that later. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so guys, for the last two steps, I am not writing because it will take some time. I'm simply, because we have only 10 minutes remaining, I'll simply copy the code from GitHub, and I will explain you what that part is doing. Okay, so let me just move to GitHub. So if I go to the backend, yeah, this is the remaining part. So let me explain you what is the objective of this particular part, and then we will run it. Okay, so any doubt, anyone till this particular point? No, right?
Sir, I missed on the LangChain part. I just want to conclude that is the LangChain, can we say that it is a library for text splitting and all?
No, it is not only for text splitting. It is for, there are a lot of things LangChain is used for. So
Okay.
it is a library to create LLM applications. Okay, it provides, it has a lot of things. We just use text splitting part.
Okay, fine, thank you.
So okay, so let's go step by step. Okay, so what we are going to do right now is, wait a second. So let me just copy step by step so that you guys understand. So we created up to this particular point, right? Now what we are going to do is we are going to now user will ask question, right? So I have taken the document, I have chunked it, I have stored it in a vector database. Okay. Now what will happen that a user, I'll give this prompt that ask a question. Okay. And so if user type exits, the chat will be closed. Otherwise, user can keep on asking questions. Okay. So that's how it is going to proceed. Now, after this, what will be happening? We have to retrieve the top 3 relevant chunks. Okay. So what will be happening is that we will take the user query. For example, user will remember what did I tell? That user will give a question. You have to convert the question as well as an embedding, right? So that we are going to do here. And after that, we are using this method to retrieve the top 3 results. Okay. So we're going to use this method to retrieve the top 3 results from my vector database. Is it clear? So this is a method that index.query. Query is a method which is used to call it. So will you do the project on your own, you will understand it. Okay. So I'm technically picking up top 3 values from my information. Okay. Which method? As in we are using cosine only. We are not using any other method. So after this, what will we do? So for example, all the 3 chunks that came in, right? We will combine them in a single text, which is called as augmented text. Okay. So what, like 3 results will come, and what I will do a for loop in this, and I will combine them in a single text. So this is all we are doing. So we take the user question here. Okay. We can embed it, and then we take the top 3 results and we combine those 3 results in a single text, which we will pass into LLM. Okay. This is the part that we are doing. After that, if you remember, we have to set up this this has to be done before this, otherwise it will not run. So now we are using Chat-OpenAI. So from LangChain import Chat-OpenAI. So if you remember at the start of the class, I explained you using Chat-OLAMA, right? Similarly, you can use using ChatGPT using Chat-OpenAI class. I'm using GPT-4 model and my temperature is 0. Okay. So this part I did it. After this, I'm just creating a prompt template that we discussed earlier in the class. Okay. This I already explained. That what will we do after this is, so prompt template. Okay. So I need to get from LangChain dot. So from LangChain dot, it was dot prompts or dot class. I forgot it. Wait a second. So prompt template is LangChain dot prompts. Yes. So from LangChain dot prompts import prompt template. Okay. So you will take this prompt template. So what see what we are going to do now, right? The prompt is that you are a helpful assistant. Use the context provided to answer the user question. Only use this context and not your knowledge. Okay. We are putting this prompt explicitly. And what we are doing in the context, we are providing this augmented context variable. So this value, it will be entered as a variable in my particular thing. If you see in the context that I mentioned here, I'm passing in the augmented context. And in the question, I'm passing the user query, that the user gave me this particular query. So these are placeholders which will be filled by user's question. Okay. And then I will set up the chain which I explained, invoke, and I will retrieve the results. So because of time issue, I am not able to explain all this in full detail, but I will do that in some other class. So now it's all about running this particular application. Okay. So see, it is embedding right now in the backend. it will take like 30 seconds. So what are we doing here? We take a prompt template. In the prompt template, we are passing placeholders. Okay, then we are creating a chain, and then we are calling the results. Now see, it is asking me that ask a question. So I will ask a question that where was, for example, Eiffel Tower born? Same question. So when I ask this, see what is going to happen. My question was, where was Eiffel Tower born? Okay. Now what is it's because I'm picking the top 3 retrieve context. So this is my first chunk which it retrieved for me. Okay. This is my second chunk that it retrieved for me, and this is my third chunk that it retrieved for me. Now in ChatGPT, it will be passing that, okay, given. So what will be happening in ChatGPT? You're a helpful assistant. Use the context provided below and answer the question. So this context will go here, and this user question that I pass, it will go here, and ChatGPT will answer the question. The Eiffel Tower was originally built in New York. Okay. So similarly, if I ask what is the shape of Earth, if I just enter it, see where did it find? Okay, so yeah, so I asked the question here, what is the shape of the Earth? See, retrieve text, it is showing me. So this is the first retrieve text. After that, this is the second retrieve text. After that, it is the third retrieve text, and then it is answering me the Earth is shaped like a perfect cube. So that is what it is doing based on my incorrect PDF text. Okay, so this was all about explaining the RAG architecture. This is a very basic implementation of RAG. It has a lot of shortcomings as well, which we will see later, but don't worry about that. We will cover them in some other workshop. Okay, so if someone has any other question, please guys, you can stay on the call. I hope you were able to learn something new. So let me know the feedback as well on WhatsApp group, and thanks a lot for taking 3 hours. Okay.
So I have a small questions, okay?
Yeah, please.
So you're using the prompt, okay? Basically, we are using the prompt, like it is like single shot prompt, something like we are using different set of prompts.
Yes.
So we are providing the line like contents, different things. Okay.
Yes.
So like how it differs, like basically in ChatGPT, we are providing a prompt, and the prompt which we are giving here, like how we need to differ with each other.
Just a second, let me just increase it a little bit, okay, so that I can take up the doubts. Yeah, please. So you said that I'm taking the prompt. Yes, can you repeat the question, please?
Oh, no, like we are using the prompt in ChatGPT, okay, right?
Yes.
We are typing some prompt and we are getting an output. And
yes.
In the context, when we are building a model, we are using like single shot prompt and or something. So basically, what is the difference between these prompts which we are using in ChatGPT, and in the model we are using some context like single shot prompt, and there are different set of prompt. Like there is something called hub also. So what is basically the difference?
No, technically there is no difference. If I tell you honestly, technically there is no difference. For example, let us say, let's do one thing. Okay, let's go to the code. Okay, I have this prompt, right? I'll copy it and I'll go to ChatGPT. So this is ChatGPT, right? So you are a helpful assistant. Use the context provided to answer the question accurately. Okay. Use this context, not your knowledge. Now, where is this context coming from? This is coming from RAG. Okay. So I'll copy the context. For example, the question that I asked. For example, where is it? I asked, what is the shape of the Earth, right? So this was the context that was generated, right? So I'll copy this whole thing. How is it going in the eventually in ChatGPT? It is going like this. In context, it will go like this. And in the question, what is my question that eventually was there? The question was, what is the shape of the earth, right? So the final message that is going, text that is going to ChatGPT will look like this. It will look like this. Now in this prompt, few things are dynamic which you are changing based on user question, right? Now when I run this thing, see, the earth is shaped like a perfect cube. So this particular prompt doesn't matter you pass through ChatGPT or you pass through a code, it remains same.
Okay, fine. And one more thing, like we'll be using the session ID, right? There is something called session ID. So while we are creating anything like chatbot or conversational chat GPT or something, so we'll be using the session ID. So can you explain me what is like session ID and what would happen if we are changing the session ID? What would happen?
So what happens? See, actually that is I haven't explained to others as well, but just for your answer, what happens that there's a concept called conversational buffer memory and agent scratchpad, right? The memory that is having in your chatbot, right? With different session IDs, your memory will change, and that's how the way chatbot will respond, it will change. That is the answer. But for that, you can connect with me separately after call. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Right. So okay, guys. Any other question, please? Yeah, I will share the GitHub link. Don't worry. I'll share on the group after the call. So.
Hi, Satvik. I have one question.
Yeah, please.
Say we have 1 TB or say 5 TB of say Parquet data having say 50 or 60 odd columns. Okay. So to say build a RAG on top of it, should we like create conversational like sentences out of those 50 columns, like one sentence per row for the Parquet, or like how can we do that?
Yeah. So basically, what you do, you summarize them. So there's a thing called conversation summary, conversational summary, something like that. Okay. There's a class. So what you do that when you have big things, for example, this was a small PDF that I created. What if the chunk size was like 1000 text, right? And you don't want to pass big. So what you do, you create summary for each of the text, and you reduce the text size.
Okay, understood.
Okay.
And the difference. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, please ask.
So, say had it been in that database been into SQL or some say Postgres, say Redshift, or the data been in RAG, like the one that we are using. So, what's the basically difference? Like, say the same amount of data, say 50 columns, 1 TB, 1
I'll tell
TB.
you, the difference is that when you're using connecting with a database, the way I have coded, it will look little different. It will not look like the RAG pipeline I will have to do some tweaks, right? Because you cannot simply just collect data. You have to provide the schema of your data, and you have to provide that, okay, this schema, this variable means this thing, right? So there, the pipeline will change a little bit when you are connecting with the database. When you're talking with documents, it is a separate pipeline. When you're talking with your, let's say, any AWS server database or anything, there you have to provide some other things as well.
Okay, sure.
I'll cover them, but for right now, for your understanding, in those cases, you have to provide a metadata as well and the schema of your database. Then only it works properly.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
So, yeah, guys, please, any other question? I'm here. I've extended the meeting a little bit for your questions. So I know the coding part would have gone over your lot of people's head. It's totally fine right now. Just understand the architecture, what I did. Watch, you can watch the code somewhere. Like I'll share the GitHub link. You can watch them later on, right? But just understand this architecture. If you keep this thing in your mind, for example, lot of you, as I mentioned, lot of you will not be working as an AI engineer, right? As a developer. But for example, if someone in your team is talking about a RAG, you should know what is happening, what is chunking, what is retrieval, right? So those things are important to know. Okay, coding part, don't worry. Like we will do some, I'll create a video as well for coding. Don't worry about that. But understand, make sure you understand the architecture. What are these terms are? You take a document, you chunk it, you embed it, then you take the user question. Okay, then you basically embed that as well to the retrieval part, and then you pass to GPT. So guys, yeah, also like do let me know about the feedback as well in WhatsApp group or like whatever you feel like, so that we can improve in coming workshops as well. Yeah.
Sure. I have a question. Like
Yeah, please.
you tell us that 𝗕𝗂𝗏 as a vector database, and in the open source we have something like Chrome. Correct?
ChromaDB.
ChromaDB. Okay.
Yes.
So similar to you have currently used like
I've used PinePhone right now.
OpenAI.
Yeah.
OpenAI,
Yeah.
but it is closed source. So, what your recommendation to have like choose LLM? Which
See,
LLM will
I'll
you
tell you
recommend?
one thing. It doesn't depend upon what I say. It depends upon what your company says, because every company does not have the ability. Basically, each company uses different LLMs because they need to get the permissions, and there are a lot of legal things. Okay. So, for example, in my company, I'm using Llama and GPT-4. But in a lot of companies, open source models are not used. GPT is used. In a lot of companies, only open source models are used. So if you ask me, GPT model is best because when we will do agents and all that moving ahead, they involve logical reasoning, and GPT is best for that. Okay, but for embedding part, there are better models than OpenAI. Okay, for that you can use some other. I will let you know. I have an article. I will share that on group. You can read that. That which model to choose for your project. That you can decide from there. But it totally depends upon your use case, right? If your use case involves a lot of logical reasoning, you use GPT. If your use case involves text parsing here and there, then you use Llama. And there are like a lot of other models. Okay, so you can read about it a little bit on internet as well. I will share an article as
Okay. Can you like suppose I have some scenario for job application filtration or using generative AI to get some uh, correct find correct candidate. So does it relevant to logical reasoning? Because I'm not able to get
Yes,
what
yes,
do
it
we
is.
mean by
Yeah, GPT can be used. So there are applications where you can. I'll show you. I have this chatbot I built. I worked on this, right? So this is an auto jobs applier. What it does that basically, I'll show you. Just give me a second. That if we go to desktop, so let me open this desktop auto jobs applier. So what does this project do is that you update your information. You go here in the backend. Okay, you put all your information here. Okay, for example, right from your name, details, everything. Okay, and after you have done everything, you just run this code. What it will do, it will go to LinkedIn, it will search all the easy apply jobs, okay, based on your filters, and it will automatically apply them. Okay, and there are a lot of things you can put as filter. For example, salary range, you can these particular things. Then for example, there is like a job was posted in last 24 hours or not. Like there are a lot of things you can do. So GPT is very good model for that, to be honest.
so? But we are sharing this data to the GPT also
So
because of the closed source.
yeah, so you're sharing. You have to share. If you don't share your personal information, you will not be able to process this.
That's why I'm asking that basically the two question is so how to choose which open source, because if I have something for open source, I deployed it on my server and then I am going to use that. So the data will not go anywhere. That's why I just want to
No,
understand
who
that
said that if
which
you deploy on an open source in your server, data will not go anywhere?
I don't know, just
It will
I'm
go. The model self trains it. It does go to the people. It does go to the company.
okay. The
So
whatever the
in
data we
what if you are using LLM, be ensured that your data is going to LLM. They have created this for this purpose only. Let me be very honest. they take the LLM, you train it, right, and that LLM gets trained up as per your data or as per your requirements, or it basically starts suggesting you things as well. So no LLM is there which does not take your data, to be honest. If I have to like sum it in one thing, it's just that the level of information, whether they can use that information to market you things, like those things vary LLM to LLM, right? But my recommendation simple will be, if you're using a closed source LLM, use GPT. For open source, use Llama. Okay, that is my straight away recommendation. And if you want, you can use, there's a model called as Mistral as well. That is a very good closed source LLM. Okay, so you can use this as well if you want. This is a very good model as well.
Okay. And one thing that you're saying that I have to choose that my problem has so much logical reasoning, something like that. So
Yes.
how I'm going to identify that? Yeah, like for the job applying, I am not able to get it.
So that totally, I mean, see, it involves complexity. Whenever you're using, again, that is, for example, job application, right? It involves lot of semantic flows, like where you have to take one thing, process other, lot of chains are involved. So it is by default a very logical operation. It is not just taking a text, converting it. Now, which model performs better comes with experience. It comes with, for example, on same project, you deploy multiple models and you see which is performing better. Okay, so there is no rule that okay, for this kind of thing use this only. There's no such rule in market. Okay, you have to test models on your application, see which one is performing better for you. Okay, now when I mentioned that for logical reasoning, for example, when you are for this job application chatbot that I just showed, it involves lot of to's and fro's things, right? So there I know that nothing apart from ChatGPT will work. But if I just have to summarize a text, if I just have to send an email by using an AI application, there, if I just have to use this basic RAG that I just showed you, there your basic open source LLMs will also work. So totally depends upon your use case. Then whenever you have a use case, you try on various models and then you see which one is performing, because there is no standard rule in market right now that for this task only this model is best. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Guys, anyone, any other question, please let me know. Yeah, please.
Sir, actually, I missed the first 5 minutes of the session. Sir, just your name and from where you belong, with which company you are affiliated with.
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
I started the session few minutes later, so just I don't know your name and which.
Yeah, so my name is 𝗂𝗏𝗃. I am presently in US, California. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anyone, any other question? Okay. After the class, please provide a feedback in WhatsApp group just for ourselves, like so that we can improve these project workshops. And like if someone has any other questions, please stay on the call. Others can leave. If you guys want to have discussion, you can stay on the call. I'm there. Otherwise,
Do
session
we
is
get
over. You guys can leave. Yeah, yeah, please.
do we get this session recording also?
Yeah,
We can
it
get.
was already being live streamed on YouTube. If you go to our channel, you will find that.
Okay.
I'll share the link on WhatsApp group. Don't worry.
Could you please provide your LinkedIn ID?
Yeah, I will share that.
Thank you, Sathik. For me, it's very helpful. I am beginner to it. I use
Yeah, don't
some
worry. See, a
GPT.
lot of things I know, a lot of things would have gone overhead because it's not possible to cover whole Genia in 2 hours, right? To be honest, to explain everyone from basics as well and to the project as well. A lot of questions would have gone unanswered, but we will conduct more sessions like this. There you can keep on coming and ask those doubts. Otherwise, you can utilize groups. WhatsApp group has, you can ask from there.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you
guys.
so much.
Thanks. Anyone? Any other question? Okay, so let's call off the session then, right? If someone has any other question, you can reach out to me. You can text me, or you can put a message on group, and please provide us some feedback, good or bad, whatever it is, so that because we are planning for more such sessions in future, we want to improve. So let me know whatever we can do. Okay. So guys,
Thank you,
thanks a lot.
Satvik.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
a
you,
lot.
Satvik. It was a good session and very informative session.
Thank you, Rajesh. Thanks everyone. So rest, enjoy your weekend. I took 3.5 hours of that, but I hope it was helpful. Thanks a lot, guys.